What's going on, everybody? The new thing. What's going on, everybody? Duplex here, and the new platinum non-piece deflection of Swift Parry gear is here. I said that all wrong. Try this third time. Finish the suit, left the battle. What's up, everybody? Duplex here, and the arena season ends tomorrow. Well, in about 20 hours. And we're wanting to get a head start to get up close to platinum, so it's not as much of a grind tomorrow whenever we get down to the nitty gritty of it. But we're going to be going through how I go about hitting platinum each week and how the team synergizes. You don't really need that crazy of a team to hit platinum. You just need a few gems to spare to re-roll the champion list or whatever from the arena tiers. And you really only need about 350-ish speed to be able to get ahead of the majority of the teams, or a halfway decent go second team. We'll dive more in depth into detail to that after we get through with our live arena. But that's going to be pretty much the gist of the video. We're going to be going through the champions and teams and how you yourself could go about getting platinum so you could farm out the new Swift Parry and Deflection non-piece sets. As it stands, that is the only way to get those gear pieces, which I do wish they would change because, 500 people elite can get them, but a lot of people just don't really push for it, so it's definitely doable. Not a whole lot to have to worry about here. We'll ban that cowbell axe. See if we can get Gizmac up to burn the stone skin off. Can Fabian reset anybody? Yeah, he can reset all of them. Cool. It is wild that he's able to put the skills on cooldown through stone skin and mercurial. He's very unique in that sense. Bo would get first pick again. It is wild that I've never really used Fabian much because I've always just kind of been like, well, everyone else is using him. I want to do something different. But throwing him out as bait so other people can't use him, and so that, if they don't pick him, well, we still get a Fabian. I've been kind of shocked at how good he is. Like, yeah, he's annoying to go up against whenever I fight him, but I didn't realize how good he actually was. He's definitely better than Armand's. Because where Armand's is stunning them for one turn, Fabian's putting all their skills on cooldown, which could be basically a 3-turn provoke, is what that amounts to or equates to. Oh, it's going to be a rough fight here, though. You know that Hilby's going to be in material. Luckily, Daryl has ally attack. Siegfried's a double hitter. Gizmac, if he kills somebody, gets a second hit. Lazarius, if we go into her second form, gets some double hitters, so we should be okay. And, of course, they do ban the Fabian generally that is who they banned. And used to, that's what we wanted because I didn't really farm his masteries or gear him up that well. But ever since I've started putting more gear on him and got his masteries maxed out, I've been kind of wanting a chance to use him more, which we can in normal arena, but not so much here in live arena. I knew better than that. I wasn't paying attention to the torment. I should not have put out those buffs. Just basically gave his whole team an extra turn. Damn, they got my Geralt down. I wasn't expecting that. I really messed up putting them buffs out. I was talking, not paying attention, but there's a torment on the team. Yeah, let's just back out of that. We gave him that fight. Now he picks a baby. Who do we want to throw out? Empress, I suppose, would be a good pick. People like to ban him. And kind of similar with Fabian. If he doesn't get banned and they ban somebody else, well, we still get an Empress. Oh, that volcano's scary. I think we're gonna take our chances with Fabian and ban the Vulcanus. That 5-star means he's probably higher invested into him. Two-piece or 6-piece material and Ethio? That's uncommon. That mouthpiece mercurial on Predator is going to be annoying. If anything gets us, it's going to be the RNG on that. Couldn't get lucky enough to get the extra hit off. But we got that ally attack there. And we one-shot the Fred boy. I want to try out some of these community tournaments now that we have friendly arena fights. Oh, look at that avatar frame. That's cool. Sylvie? Only 2-star blessing, though. For him to have 15K on the arena power, I bet he's got some crazy gear out. Hopefully, Lazarius, since we got the Rat King to go up against, instead of doing the turn meter boost, I think we're going to put out block debuffs. But Wukong could steal them, so I don't know. He is pretty slow, though. We might be able to kill him off before he gets a turn. Let's see. Yeah, we're okay. Easy peasy. That's 4 out of 5. I like those odds so far. Oh, we got new upcoming events.
We've got 2 bits of news to cover in today's video. Hope you're having a good weekend, by the way. So, first up, this is news that has appeared in-game, so you might have seen this already. But we're going to have a summon pool event from Sunday, the 15th of March to Thursday, the 19th of March. And I think the key thing here is Bayek. He is up for grabs, the time-limited Assassin's Creed champion. I think the best of them. And yeah, Dune Lord Gregor, who is the faction unit,
Oh, he got
in there as well. So yeah, cool. We will see what other champions are in there. I mean, presumably it's just a bunch of barbarians, but you could have some good stuff. There's quite a few good barbarians that might be in there as well. We'll see who they are. I mean, they might throw it like Freya, be quite solid. Possibly Armans or Thor. Who knows what they'll put in there. Maybe they'll put in some rubbish stuff. There are some good epics, because there is one free pull up for grabs. I say Farrakhan is certainly the best epic. But Alika's decent, actually, for PvP. Kind of underrated. Yeah, I don't know. Hoskrul's all right for faction war. Actually, to be honest, their epics are kind of bad. The rares, like Berserker's great, Soulbond is great, War Maiden's good. The rares are almost better than the epics, apart from Farrakhan. Farrakhan's the big draw there.
Well, we was able to strip the snow skin off and sheep that guy, so we're off to a good start here. What do y'all think of a barbarian St. Patrick's Day, though? I do kind of agree that most of the barbarians are lackluster. So, unless it's really cheap or something that I just really like, if there's something special that I need to get out of it, probably not going to go for it. But let's see what all is in there.
So yeah, Bayek and Gregor up for grabs. I certainly won't be going for this myself because I've got Bayek, but Bayek, he's fantastic. I think Bayek is incredibly good. He is very, very, very good for arena, and yeah, he's very good for clan bosses and just also the bosses in the game generally. And he should do well into the future as well. I think he's very solid. So yeah, there is one up for grabs in a Sand Devil tournament. One pull, the Sand Devil tournament is live right now. I'm guessing that's probably going to be it. Maybe, yeah, that's probably going to be it. They typically only give one free pull away, and it's one of the, it's somewhat difficult to get. So it's
The last time we had a Prism Shard pull, last week I think it was, I got this Still River Thorn on my free to play account, and dude, she is busted. Like she hits 3 times as hard as my Alice does. The same gear transfer over. Like she is an insane champion.
depends. I think if your end game, it's certainly even late game. If you can farm Sand Devil reasonably well, then it's certainly worth going for, because Bayek and Gregor, they're two of the harder champions in the game to get, and they're both good. So yeah, it's worth getting the free pull for sure. And then whether or not you want to spend money is up to you. Certainly, I think Krakens will certainly be tempting.
I would like to get Doomlord Gregor just because I don't have him, and I've got most of the good Barbarian legendaries. So I don't know. We might go for that.
Did for sure buy this because Bayek is time limited, right? That FOMO effect is going to be kicking in. Gregor, he's pretty interesting. Faction Unity. He's decent. I think one of the slight issues is that there's such strong competition from the other barbarians. For like Arn and Alaz, both for Siege, right? Both very strong. Or if you're running barbarians only in like Classic or Tag Arena. Obviously Odin is in there. Arman's fallen off a bit in Arena, but he's still decent. Thor, you've got some good champions. Freya's very good. Gregor, he's cool though. So his increased attack and increased accuracy does do a bit of cooldown reduction and a turn meter boost, although he only has 105 base speed, so he's not super quick. But he gives an instant turn to the ally with the highest crit damage, which is pretty fun. That is pretty cool. Not too many. Arn is pretty good. I think he self-buffs, though, increased stack and increased accuracy.
Dude, on paper, Arn sounds busted. I don't have him, and I haven't had a chance to test him out. But I will say I've went up against him one time in the arena, and dude, he wrecked me.
That's a bit clunky. I'd say other than that, there's not too many like top tier attack nukers in the faction to be pairing him up with. Again, Thor, but Thor does self-buff. Xena's okay, but she was very time limited and pay to win only. So Raph was good, but he's time limited. Not too many attack nukers to put with him, I feel. And then he's got AoE buff manipulation with shields. A1 can provoke. It's kind of fun. Allies do more damage to enemies who are crowd controlled. Kind of cool. And you ignore resist when applying crowd control. Kind of cool. And counterattacks are stronger, etc. I think he's all right. I think he's not a must-have. I think he's fine.
Time to shut it down, guys.
He's only okay, to be honest. Like he's good, but not a must-have by any means. He does crop up in some barbarian teams, definitely in Siege, but you're gonna need like 1 or 2 of these mythicals. You really probably need Odin. It's pretty difficult, pretty intensive to build a good team for barbarians in Siege. So I don't know, and I don't think he's crazy useful elsewhere. Like he's a fine generalist. He's bringing you some nice buffs and a little bit of cooldown reduction, and it's nice, and the shield and the bit of buff. It's nice, but not a must-have. Still, he is a difficult champ to get. Faction Unity champs are only available in these summon events, so that's nice. Now, the other big bit of news is this. In fact, there's 2 parts of it. So I guess these are for St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is the 17th of March. But we've got, and these both start on Monday the 16th, but the Verdant Deck of Fate, they'll probably be all like shamrocks on the Deck of Fate cards or something, I would be guessing. There's going to be a 2x for 6-star souls from Eternal Soul Stones for 9.
Oh, that's wild.
96 hours, overlapping a Deck of Fate for summoning souls from Soul Stones, again, for 96 hours. 2x Eternals is pretty massive. Why? Because Eternal Soul Stones are normally 75% 5-star, 25 6-star. In this event, it becomes a 50-50. So you have a 50% shot to get 6-star souls.
That is crazy. 50-50 chance that whatever you get is going to be 6-star and the other half will still be a 5-star.
And you don't get rares. mostly get epics, to be fair. Most of them will be epics, but you'll get a decent chunk of legendaries and you'll get some mythicals. And if you happen to get lucky and pull that 6-star Soul in the Champ, it can be game changing. I actually have 20 Eternals. I am probably going to pull all of them. Why not? St. Patrick's Day, right? Pride of the Irish. Let's go. But it is kind of the big event to save Eternals for. Eternals kind of like Sacred Shards in a sense, but Sacred Shards don't really massively benefit from the 2x. Like, it's nice, but it's not huge. Sacred Shards kind of became more of a use these to complete tournaments and events type of shard, right? For serious players. Eternal Soul Stones are a bit different. Yes, they certainly can be used to complete like Decks of Fate for guaranteed champions. Those very often require, or yeah, Soul Stones are part of them, or sometimes Heroes Paths for guaranteed champions, or their guaranteed souls will sometimes have Soul Stones be a part of them. Eternals are very strong for helping you to complete that. But unlike the Sacreds, they really benefit so much from that 2x. If you're able to pull them on the 2x instead, it has a massive impact. Is it still a gamble?
What?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, Frey is passive.
But when it goes well, it can be account changing. So yeah, it's one of those things. This 2x 6 stars for Eternals is a good event, just full stop. It's probably the most impactful, albeit the most expensive, both in terms of your in-game resources and if you want to buy any of your real-life money.
Oh, that's a cool avatar
super
for him.
expensive. But yeah,
What
it's
is
very
that, the
good.
Queen
So,
of
as I
Hearts?
said, I've got about
Or
20
that's a
Eternals
spade.
saved up. I've been saving for ages. I am probably going to pull all of them for this event and just try to get some good souls. And by the way, I've got a good start. I've got like almost 50 immortals and almost 100 immortals. So I'm in a decent spot should there be soul stones required for like a guaranteed event for Edward or something. So there you are. Now, what is in the actual deck though that is overlapping this? Well, it's a bit shit is my thoughts. You get points for summoning souls from soul stones. That's going to be the bulk of them. You will get some from gear hunters or dungeon divers as well, getting artifacts and accessories. We now have 3 different ways that they've referred to this thing to make it extra confusing.
Ooh.
But yeah, basically what is now called gear hunters. So there it is. And you will get some stuff. So number one, yeah, there's
not really a good way to go about this team. No matter who we ban, we're still going to have to deal with 2 major threats.
Going to be fate chests. Now, one good news is you will be able to pin cards. I think that makes it decent. So if you're completing lots of this deck, I mean, certainly you just pin the best chest that you come upon and then try to get the best chest. And those chests typically have some decent stuff and you'll be guaranteed to eventually get them. It can tempt you into pulling more soul stones than you should. But seeing as there's no boost for other types of soul stones, it's like just pull your Eternals, do some gear hunters, and open a chest maybe, and that might be it. But pinning chest is good. The cards themselves, there's going to be 300 rare celestial crystals. There's going to be 200 epic ones under 8 blue cards, 150 legendary ones under 6 epics, and 50 mythical ones under 2 epics. So yeah, look, the way I look at it, this is the nub opinion. 300 rare crystals is basically completely worthless. 200 epic crystals is basically completely worthless. 150 legendary is okay. It's only okay. Bearing in mind, legendaries, you are more likely to get an epic relic than you are to get a legendary. You've got a good chance for a legendary, sure, but it's far from guaranteed. You know, you could easily get the 150 legendaries and walk away with an epic relic, which in my mind is basically useless. The legendaries are decent. These are from, I think these are the Wings of Winter. So sure, like you're most likely getting one of these 2, which forget about it, like who cares? Or these 2 are good, right? But yeah, I think it's just a and then like look, 50 mythical relics, that's good, but it's only 50. So there you go. You've potentially pulled oodles of eternal soul stones and you've walked away with half a mythical relic craft. It's just a bit shit. This is just a bit shit. Now the fate chests are good. The fate chests are good. They might make this somewhat worthwhile. But I really think that the way to look at this event, in my opinion, is okay, 2x on Eternal Soulstones.
Well, the fate chests are only good if you're able to pin the color or tier chest.
That's great. This stuff is a little bonus, but it's a pretty shit bonus. In my opinion, I just think the relics. If I like, I love giving.
Talk about getting wrecked. There went our win streak. How many had we won out of that tonight? I think all but that one and one other one, wasn't it? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we can make this 7 out of 10, though, that's still going to be pretty good odds.
Given my criticisms of stuff, I feel like the relic system, I don't really think it needs the rare, epic, legendary, and mythical. Like, it literally could just be legendary, mythical. Most of the rares are complete trash. There's some, like, I think Grim Forest, they did a decent job where it sort of makes sense. Like, there's a little bit of value at each tier. But for the most part, right, they're kind of shitty. And you could just make the good rare relics into legendary relics, make them a bit better. And I don't know, like, I just don't really... I think half of the relics are just complete trash. And pretty much all the rare relics are like, you might put them up to +9, when you're early game, and it helps a little bit. Bit of a stat stick, right? Like, get a bit. This one is a nice stat stick for damage. This one is a nice stat stick for a debuffer. That's cool. There's the odd, like, extremely good. Arachne Elixir is obviously completely busted. Perch Shadow is insane. Right, Arethi Carnet's real good, but there's very few that are worthwhile. If we look at the event, again, I think either of these are particularly special.
They must have really low resistance. To strip all the stone skin off, that's pretty wild.
I don't think the rares are particularly special. I think Oculus Custodian is decent. I think Thunderbolt is a good resistance relic. It's fine. Not the best, but it's good. I think Thunderbolt Spear is a good damage relic. It's not the best, but it's good. I think the 2 mythicals are excellent. Very strong. But, they're extremely difficult to get. And really, you've got very little chance out of all of this. Like, you've got half of a chance, basically. So, yeah. Long story short, I think that the decks of fate for guaranteed champions are typically very high value if you max out the whole thing. I think the decks of fate for gear are my favorites because you could just, do flip over 5 cards, get 5 bits of gear. Great, cool. It's a little bit of gear. Grand. You could flip over 30 of the 40
I think
cards.
we'll be okay.
Grand. I got a lot of gear. Grand, cool. Or I could flip the whole thing. Go all out. Get lots and lots and lots of gear. You got options, and just do as much or as little as you want, and every reward along the way is has a chance to be useful. And I think this is probably my least favorite because it's like, much like the gear one, you can do as much or as little as you want, but unlike the gear one, it's almost entirely complete tat. It's complete fluff. I just feel like all this stuff is rewards to be shiny and pretty and to look like you're getting something when in reality you're getting nothing. So there we go. That's my rant about the relic system. Forget about it. Really, the legendary materials are all right, but it's really all about mythical materials, to be honest, because those.
I do agree, and it seems like you get the same relics constantly. Ooh. So yeah, we got 7 out of 10. we're gonna buy some more because I really want to get that token there or that chest.
It's that time again. About every 6 months, like clockwork, there's a new horror movie that comes out that gets the buzz that it's the scariest movie ever made. Hope you brought your diaper, because you're gonna be pissing those britches after how scary this one is. Like with long legs and all of that. And time again, it's usually just like it was an alright movie. Just marketing buzz out the wazoo. And that brings us to the most recent culprit here. Undertone. It has been hyped up by a lot of people as being real scary, no doubt going to be the scariest film of the year, maybe one of the scariest things human beings have ever cooked up. It is an unholy concoction of fear, filth, evil. Too scary even, potentially. And from the trailer, I actually thought it looked good. Undertone utilizes sound as like its gimmick. It's a horror film that does have a gimmick, which isn't unusual. A lot of horror films rely on it, but it executes it very well, and it doesn't live or die by its gimmick. It actually does make you care about the characters in the movie. I just saw it. I'm going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off now. No, it is not the scariest movie I've ever seen. I also don't know if it'll be the scariest movie of the year, but I do think it's good. I did enjoy it. I wasn't bored. I wasn't let down. And I will say, as far as like scariest movie ever made buzz goes, this one's probably one of the better ones that gets slapped with that title. I like it more than Longlegs. I can safely say that. So let's dive into it a bit. Immediately, I want to talk about the gimmick because that is going to be the bulk of what you experience here. It is about a podcast host, and they go through the creepy stories for their podcast and figure out if the paranormal is real. One of them's a skeptic, the main character that we follow, and her co-host is more willing to believe in it. Not that that overly matters. Also, we are going to get into some spoilers here because some of my complaints, they do get spoilery, so I'm going to give you fair warning now. But anyway, we follow Evie. Justin is the co-host who is just kind of there to like reinforce that, oh man, this might be...
What do we get here? Crit damage, crit rate on the impulse. Let's take it up to 8 and see where them substats are going to roll. Dude. Do we get a double? Yeah, it's a double in crit damage. It'd be okay for a mid-tier HP nuker. We ain't going to put it on like a top-tier nuker. We'll flat out re-roll that one. Hey, we got some speed boots for impulse. And they're all 3 into defense. Okay. All right. That's not horrible. I wish the flat stat and the percentage was swapped around, but at least they synergize. Crit damage, speed, and crit rate. I like that. That's got potential. That sucks. Let's see if we can get them into crit rate or accuracy. Defense. Yeah. Triple? Nope. So the speed boots we'll probably use, but the other pieces we'll probably re-roll.
Real, where Evie's like, well, actually, this might just be psychosis. That kind of thing, which I think is a fine dichotomy. I think that they bounce off each other well on the podcast, but that sets the stage. It is all about audio for the most part, and it is a slow burn of a movie. In fact, like the first 40 minutes, nothing's happening outside of setting the stage for the main story that we dive into, which is a mysterious email that Justin receives as the subject for their podcast episode. It comes from a mumbo-jumbo email sounding like a 10-minute mail address, and it was attached with, it had 10 audio files attached and some gobbledygook in the base of it. So they decide to go through it, which I think is also a little weird the way they set it up. It didn't narratively make sense. This is apparently a very popular podcast, and yet he just randomly clicked on an email that just said lol. He even said, like, I got a weird email that said lol. So I clicked on it, and there was 10 audio files there with
Oh.
no actual information or anything. So we're going to listen to him for the episode. That feels like a bit of a leap there. But anyway, it then dives into these audio files, and we learn about two characters in these audio files, Mike and Jessa. And some really peculiar stuff is happening in their relationship, potentially possession. I don't want to spoil everything, so I'm not going to get into like full-blown spoilers or anything. I just want to make that clear right now. But you are now listening to basically a potential possession. And Evie is, of course, not really believing it, thinking it could be a hoax or rational explanations. Justin, on the other hand, starts like researching, and we get like a lot of lore. Like we learn a lot about what's going on in these audio files, and I think the movie does a really good job of making you care and making you feel tense. Even though it's not actually showing you anything, you're just hearing these audio files. It's also shot in a really creative way. It's not just static shots on Evie. The camera's always slowly moving, and you see like maybe some things in the shadows, or maybe like some of the things you're hearing in the audio maybe aren't in the audio file, but it's actually in the house Evie's in. It does a really good job of playing with audio as well as using some good camera shots that make things interesting and eerie. Like, I do think it's shot well, and I think they utilize sound very well, and I really wouldn't be surprised if they actually hid things in the audio that only certain people will pick up on, or if you like run it backwards, which was like a core component of this movie, where they run certain audio things backwards and it tells them more of the story and more of like the haunted shit. Now,
You should have known better than that.
Evie's mother is in rough shape and on the verge of passing away, and Evie is taking care of her. She is basically in a coma, and Evie cares for her. And as we are learning about this story through these audio files, weird things are happening with the mom, the house, and Evie. And here's where things start to show a few cracks. When they're outside of like the audio, when you're actually following Evie around her day-to-day, it is a little boring. There is moments where it just feels like kind of a slog, but I don't think it's like to the detriment of the film, because it does set itself up as a slow burn, and I think it does fine there. But when it starts trying to show you some scary stuff instead of like have you hear creepy things, I think it falls into horror movie cliches big time. Like, it uses some of the most standard shit that you've seen in horror movies, just tropes out the wazoo, like the classic teapot, or Evie likes to draw with crayons, so then she drew something weird. She drew something scary out of the crayons. What? Or like a weird statue that keeps mysteriously getting moved, or the light comes on and then the light goes off. Like, it just shows, like, when it's trying to show you something scary or creepy, I think it just kind of falls into the old tried and true methods of the same scares that you've seen a million times, especially towards the end. At the end, they throw the kitchen sink at the scares that you're used to seeing. So as shit's popping off and they're receiving phone calls on the podcast from people like laughing because it's the bad demon going, ha 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 ha, ho 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 ho. You shouldn't have listened to all the files. Are you dumb, you doofus? You listened to all 10 files? Uh-oh, guess we're gonna fuck ya. Like, it's literally taking like a victory lap, and they use like the standard cliche demon filter where it's like, gooba gooba, gooba gooba gooba, you listen to the 10 files, gooba gooba gooba, it's, I don't know, it gets so silly with that. The movie is by far at its best when it's utilizing sound, because I think it actually does a good job at that. And I really appreciate that it wasn't afraid early on to be slow and have these really slow camera shots where you're questioning yourself if you're seeing something there or hearing something there or not. And I do think there was a couple of times where they got creative with like building up tension. So like there's like some really quick, there's a scene where she closes something real quick and there's like a brief flicker on the reflection where I think you could very easily miss something scary that happened in that reflection. I think that's when the movie's doing its best work. When it's utilizing sound, which the whole thing tries to build around, and when it's being unapologetically slow with creative shots that actually do build tension. And I do think the movie does a good job of making you care about Evie and her situation, so you want to get some kind of resolution, you want to see what's going on. And I also do like the lore they set up, but it really feels like someone got cold feet and felt the need to have like a couple of cheap jump scares that I don't think were very effective. The jump scares in this kind of fall flat, and the need to throw in like the standard spooky horror movie visuals. So like at the end, there's a creepy face on the TV and it's making some loud noise.
Why is Solinar not taking any damage? That's 3 hits in a row that he didn't take any damage on. And he just now had block damage.
Noises. There's the demon voiceover going, ah, ha, 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 ha. That kind of thing. Like, it just, like, it ruins its own momentum of being, like, methodical with its tension. And it just kind of blows its load into this giant bukkake of, like, generic horror visuals. But that's not to say I think everything about the ending sucks. I actually love what they did at the very, very end of the movie. They have, like, this 10-ish minutes, maybe 15 minutes of doing like the standard horror movie shit, and then like the very end, the last like 2 or 3 minutes is actually only audio. It's only audio to deliver the rest of the movie, and I thought that was great. I thought that was a really good choice, and if it didn't have that wet fart for 10 to 15 minutes before it, I think it would have stuck the landing much better. But even still, I do like the decision they made at the end there. Though I think a lot of people will be disappointed that there's not actual closure. It's very open-ended. But for me, I actually like that more, because then you actually think about it. You don't get spoon-fed what happens. You hear things that happen, or you hear things you think happen, and you play it all out in your head. So you are imagining things. And this is something I've said for a while. The scariest thing isn't what something shows you. It's what you convince yourself of. No one's going to scare you more than you will. Which is why things like the very last couple minutes of the movie, I think, work really well. Because it's not showing you anything. You're hearing things, and now you yourself imagine them, and maybe you scare yourself with what you think is going on there. I just thought that was smart. And I really like that, and I really wish it didn't have the 10 to 15...
Well, I was going to watch channel, but it said it's going to be music for 10 minutes. Damn, that magma shield is rough. I will say, though, I've only lost to the Solinar once. I don't think he, yeah, look at how much damage he put out. But Geralt always seems to be able to counter him. And a lot of times Siegfried will. So, he's a great champion, but he's not, impossible to counter, basically. We got a Lua. Trying to remember what she does. Attacks on enemy, decrease all their turn meter, and ignore shield and block damage. Not a bad skill. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Each critical hit heals this champion about 2.5% HP. What's the cooldown on that? 3. Attacks on enemy, 50% of damage to all enemies. This stack is perfect. Depending on her multipliers, she could be a pretty decent epic damage dealer. They're all 6-star and the Fabian's +1. Which I've got 2 Fabians. I could +1 them, but I prefer to have them in my faction Guardians. Yeah, this one, I don't think I'll be able to beat Scott +1 on half his team. We're still going to give it a good effort, but
Hey guys, welcome back to J Raids, and in today's video we're jumping straight into it. Let's start things off with a quick little test for you guys. We have some pretty fast champions here on this screen. We got Fabian, we got Galathier on my side, 6-star Fabian with the soul. We got a 5-star Galathier. On the opponent's side, we got some super fast champions as well. We got the Arbiter, we got the Shuzen, we got the Warlord. And so my question to you guys is, which champion do you think is going to be the fastest? Let's jump in and find out. Is it going to be the Fabian? Is it going to be the Arbiter? Is it going to be the Shuzen?
ooh,
Let's see. In 5,
yeah, that's rough.
4, load faster, 3, 2, and 1. Boom. It's not any of them. It's my Alo over here, and it's not even close. You can see a little bit of space left within their turn meters over here. So let's come in and just get rid of the Warlord. Pow. And now let's just nuke down the rest of their board. Wow.
I wanted some spicy takes, so I went for a place with spicy food. Ireland? Hello everyone, Bront Catter here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends. I do want to thank Raid for sponsoring this video. I've got a great link down below. Use the code RAID7, get yourself a Pelops. He's an amazing support champion to start with. Or use Kitty Cut, get the Cheshire Cat. He's one of my favorite champions right now. But more importantly, we've got Nubkex on the line here. He is from Ireland, who you've apparently got spicy food. Is my internet search doing me well?
I mean, you can get spicy food here for sure. It's traditional Irish cuisine isn't spicy. I will say the spice bag is fast food creation of Ireland, and it's amazing. It's really good. So yeah, I don't know if it's been exported around the world yet, but you can find a recipe online. It's lovely. So like chips, shredded chicken, onions, spring onions, whatever, in a bag with like Chinese 5-spice and chilies and sugar and stuff. It's really bad for you, but it's delicious. Great if you're drunk. So,
I mean, to be fair,
spice bag.
To be fair, great to be drunk sounds like a traditional Irish dish of some kind. So, but Yeah, we're here for some spicy takes. You know, Nub is a man known for going out there just a little bit with issues like Cassandra is absolutely terrible, or how he loves Tag Team Arena compared to Classic Arena. You know, I mean, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. I don't necessarily disagree with him, but certainly a hot take for some people. But stuff we would either like to see Raid change, or stuff that's definitely, a little different, a little more unique. And I figured this would be kind of a fun, what if, opinionated video. And who better do this with someone who has put his mouth in his foot, or, so foot and mouth have joined together occasionally. It's something all those content creators do. But let's give you the chance to do that first.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I'll go with that one, seeing as that sort of inspired this video. But yeah, Tag Team Arena is actually good. Way better than Classic. Classic Arena is the worst arena, and it's not even funny. Tag Arena has its problems, like, he's farming the one-man defenses and whatever, but what Tag Arena does well, when it works well, is much like Hydra, and I think it's one of the strengths of Hydra too, because you need 3 different teams, you have to be quite creative in terms of how you use your champions, and unlike Hydra, where, all the difficulties are doing the same thing. In Tag, you're fighting 3 different teams, so you end up doing what you're doing right here, right now, being like, oh, it's a fun little puzzle. I think it's a fun puzzle of like, oh, which of my teams do I match against which of their teams? And I think you also end up learning a lot about Arena as well, and what teams work, which champions are like kind of must use for your account, versus which you could move in and out, and trying different stuff. And yeah, I think if you actually engage in the mode, like, to be fair, when you're starting out and you're like, no, I barely have 4 champ, let alone 12, I just lose. Yeah, obviously it sucks. But I think once you've been playing the game for long enough, where like Bronze Tier, you've got 4 solid enough teams, I think that's where you can actually, it's one of the best places to learn about Arena, try a bunch of different stuff, and actually one of the better Arena modes. Hot take, everyone hates this, but they're wrong, I say.
No, I mean, because just looking at this here, like, for example, Torment is difficult to deal with on my account here, so I might actually have to either sacrifice a team here and just make sure I win these other 2, which is a perfectly viable strategy, by the way. Or maybe I avoid this because I also can't deal with the Queen of Hearts, for example. So maybe this is a good defense from that perspective. On my main, for example, where I actually can deal with that stuff, it's like, okay, here's my Sify team that lines up against Tormund, because that's an easy one. The Sify team also doesn't do any turn meter decrease, so it's actually a really good lineup against this team right here. Turtle's probably bad against the Queen of Hearts for multiple reasons, but hey, this team's not super buff heavy, so maybe this team would work very well. And hey, the Turtles actually do well against Fabian, so there, you think about that. Or you can, have different other pre-builds, or maybe it's like, okay, I need Sify in this team here, so let me drag Sify and drop her into this team here instead to fix that team. It makes you think about your team.
So out of 15, it looks like we won 10, which is a 2 out of 3 win rate. That's not horrible for Live Arena.
Builds. It makes you have multiple different around team builds, and if you want to do it on auto, then yes, you have to have them in the team setup, but sometimes you're not going to do them on auto because you're going to manual a couple things here and there too. It's not like these things take too long, although that's an argument for a different set, maybe a different hot take here. But yeah, I think there's a lot of fun to be had in Tag if you can engage in the mode. It still has problems, and that's what you're not saying that doesn't have problems. There's plenty of problems we can go into Tag, why Tag is still not a great mode. You're just saying you like it better than Classic, because at least in Classic, it's, I don't have to think about this. It's like, can I beat this team? Yes. Can I beat this team? Yes. Can I beat this team? Yes. And you just go and do it, and you're done. It's very non-engaging.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's clearly Tag has problems, but I think it's not a complete throwaway. I think there actually is some nice stuff in there as well. So yeah, it's a spicy one. It's one of the things that kind of confuse. Like, I wonder if it is just the rewards, right? That Classic is easy. You just go in, you win, you get your rewards, and it's quick and easy. I wonder if that's why people like Classic versus Tag. Sort of similar to clan bosses, which we talked about on my channel, the Chimera. But I think people like Demon Lord because, especially these days, it's quick and easy. Definitely, it's extremely easy compared to Chimera and Hydra, no question. But it's much more popular, I think, because, people like the easier rewards, right?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they lock you out of these rewards is just so silly. Why not let people save up for the Sacred Shard? Even if it takes 6 months because you're in bronze, at least you can say, hey, I'm saving up for the Sacred Shard. That's kind of cool, It's just So silly.
It's such abandoned content, right? And the quick battles is really them throwing in the towel and being like, yeah, whatever, just quick battles, fine.
What's funny
We're
too is
never
if
gonna.
it's the easy battles, sometimes the quick battles aren't faster either. So it's just,
Yeah,
whatever.
a little slow. Yeah.
All right. I guess this qualifies a hot take because I think this is a major change to the game, but I don't think this is something that people are going to disagree with. I think accessories need to change. And I think what I'd like them to change with specifically is I think they need to change into Tolarian League instead of Bannerlords, High Elves, Sacred Order, and Barbarians, and Galen Pack. And I think that that undermines a little bit of the rarity of these things because it becomes easier to farm for specific champions. But I think we're at a point where either they can't manage the amount of accessories that we need per faction, and if they want to have these 9-piece sets be useful and interesting, they need to be reasons to keep them around. Like on my main, I don't actually keep any of the live arena sets anymore. I just, not only are they not great, but the
Not worth the
accessories
hassle.
take up valuable accessory room that I would rather have for Pinpoint or Chronophage or Mercurial now, or Stone Skin, or Protection, or now, if I can ever get any, if I ever do any Platinum Arena, those sets now too. Those are at least usable sets, usable things you might use in a 9-piece, and the fact that you need to get to the 9-piece of those to make them usable, and the chances of you ever getting a 9-piece for any faction is just gross. But they're not, in a vacuum, 1 piece here, 1 piece there isn't bad, but why not? I mean, what do you think about something like that?
I completely agree. Yeah. Like, I think cutting it down to the alliances or whatever they're called is a quick step to improve things. Yeah. I mean, like when the game first came out, right? There was no special accessory sets. It was just accessories for the factions. But like you had 12 factions, and then there was probably, I don't know, about 12 regular gear sets as well. Like not that many. So there's quite a balance. Nowadays, you've got now 16 factions, and now you've got about 10 or more variable sets each. There's so many more individual buckets of accessories that you have to manage versus regular gear. Like it's kind of shocking how much worse accessory management has got over the years. So yeah, I
And
think they
I
really need
keep
to do a major change.
falling
I
asleep
know
here.
it's kind of a pity. There's lots of nice artwork for every
Too
faction's
early for
accessory sets.
sleep.
Like that's cool, but I mean, I think they need to get rid of it. Like
Yeah.
it really just it's bad. It's so
Well, like,
bad.
revenge accessories are not bad, but I can't keep a revenge accessory for the most part anymore because there's no room for it because I need the 9 pieces, and the 9 pieces that have
Yeah.
been there are better in general. It doesn't mean I wouldn't occasionally want a revenge set, but the opportunity cost of even having it is just so high nowadays, let alone the chance of me having it in the right faction for the right champion that I need it for in the first place is just so rare. Or even the ones going back to, tag problems. I was never a big fan of the cleansing ones, but the refresh ones were very powerful. I had a refresh ring on my Kymar for the longest time, and that was fun because I would very regularly use Kymar's reset ability and then use it a second turn in a row because it wouldn't go on cooldown, which was just absolutely busted. And, you just don't keep these things anymore because they're just not great. And even the cleansing ones aren't like, better than nothing. It was certainly better than a spider relic, but no,
Yeah.
they're not even worth keeping anymore because 8% chance to cleanse at the beginning of turn is nothing compared to the extra stats or other stuff you're getting from these other sets.
Yeah, it's kind of a pity, right? Like the old accessories, right? The 3-slot sets, like they were kind of, well, not even sets, but the accessories with the little unique effect, they were kind of cool. They're kind of fun. But as you said, the variable sets now have really pushed them out, and it is all about the variable sets. I think the variable sets are a very nice upgrade over regular gear, over 2 and 4-piece gear sets. They're fine, but the variable sets I think are much more interesting. I do think with the accessories, I think you've lost something a little bit there. So I mean, there's the potential to rework that into another, I don't know, power system in the future. I don't know, like trinkets or something, right? Have your reaction trinket or your refresh trinket. I don't know. They could add in another power set, but yeah.
Let's go for more hot takes. We got something hot for you, sure, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've got lots of hot takes here. Okay. Ooh. All right, let's go for this one. Faction Wars hard is actually fine difficulty. How about that?
Ooh.
Again, it does have it has some individual problems, right? Like I think the purple boss is too hard.
Dark Elf
Some of
14.
the some of the factions have conditions which are terrible, but I think in general while there are specific examples of specific things within it which are too difficult and imbalanced, I think in general the amount of time it takes to get your account to a position where you can fully complete this is actually fine, which is I think a hot take. I think I've seen a lot of people being like, I can't beat this content, it's bad. They might say, I've been playing for 3 years and I can't beat this content, it's bad. I don't think so. Actually, I think it's fine to have content that is longer term in the game, and you're gonna have to collect some fusions over like the course of a year or two. I actually think it's okay to have this longer term progression content that you can't fully clear. It's ridiculously difficult. I actually, you know what, I think it's fine. It's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think it's okay. I think just because you can't beat something doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. But I don't know, Brant, what do you think about it? I could see you're obviously not too far into it, but you've done a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's deceptive. Like my dwarf crypt, for example, I'm on stage 13 in my dwarves. So,
nice.
For a free to play that's been in it for a year or whatever else, I mean, to be fair, dwarves are so powerful, and we've had so many stupid fusions with dwarves. It's not that surprising, but Sylvan Watchers, same type of thing there. Just, I'm at stage 13 because there's lots of powerful champs, and I just happen to have those from that there. Orcs, on the other hand, my orcs are not great, and this is my orc team, and I haven't even booked my Crocad yet because I don't have a Shayak, so he's been a lower priority to book than other damage dealing champions. Not that he's great, he's still a great champion, and honestly, he's still in the should I book him now because it's probably about time, because he's still a good damage dealer for Hydra even without the other Packmaster, but it's just not quite happened. And some of it is just getting lucky, but like the orcs, you have problems. The Ogryn are better now, but still have some problems,
Yeah, they buffed all their Void legendaries, but if you don't happen to have them, it's really rough. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of the tweaking is actually, I think I kind of agree that a lot of the tweaking is with the factions, not with the difficulty of hard mode faction wars. I still think that they probably need to knock it down to maybe like 5% easier or something like that. Just a little bit here or there, and definitely like the purple boss. I made the joke about Dark Elf stage 14, but on my main, I think that's the only stage 14 I haven't beaten.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
No, I mean, once I pull Noldua, all that won't be a problem, I'm hoping, but it's just, there's no
Where's all my earthy
and
core
revivers
nuts?
that are the same champion in Dark Elves. Or you need to like, one of my best healers in Dark Elves is Painkeeper. I mean, really.
Surely that ain't the only one.
Just it's such a weird faction, Shadowkin. Shadowkin's one I've beaten, but I don't think I've beaten it enough to where I can get all the stars. I have not finished even on my main any of the factions, although a lot of that is because I've got like 600. I've got 600. So I've got 63 or 62 stars out of 63 on Undead because I could. But the one I haven't done is the one that's the no weak hits, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this no weak hits until I'm close enough to getting all the rest of these done that's worth my time and effort to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which I don't think that part I think is not necessarily a problem, right? You don't have to get the stars as soon as they're there. Like I think people were I was trying to do it as a content series when the content came out, and it was stressful to try to 3-star everything when it came out. But like people are really getting themselves worked up about being able to 3-star, like fully clear the content literally almost within seconds of it coming out. It's like you don't have to do that, right? It's fine if you don't clear it all instantly.
I know my experience with it got a lot better the moment I said, you know what, I'm not going to worry about getting the 3 stars as I climb up. I'm going to climb up as far as I can, then I will worry about cleaning things up later on if I realize I'm close to winning, which honestly is probably how you should handle regular faction wars too in a lot of content. It's a little different with regular faction wars where it's a lot easier to 3-star because you simply have to survive through the floor. So once you have oh, hey, look, I just survived through stage 16. Maybe I should clean up stage 5. It's so much easier to do. And in many cases, stage 5 can be, oh, here's my good damage dealer that can carry through the entire thing because nobody else takes damage because everyone just dies before I get through it, So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is. I mean, it's definitely a hot take. I know that there's a lot of hate for hard faction wars, and that's certainly not saying that the reward is certainly worth all the effort it takes to get there. I mean,
No.
she's probably not as bad as people say she is, but that she's also a bit of a letdown of a mythical champion, I think, too, kinda, for the effort it takes
Yeah.
to get her, I think is more the issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw from that the stats that they shared, only like 500 players got her at all in
Mhm.
2025, which is a minuscule amount, and like she's just not useful for that level of account, which is realistically an account that's probably spent thousands. So like she's just not useful,
Mhm.
unfortunately. You can have fun with her, sure, but useful, nah. But yeah, like it is content. The longer the game goes on, the more champions they buff and rework, the easier it gets. The more fusions, the easier it gets, etc., etc. I think one definitely sort of tangential issue to it is that since they stopped buffing epics, it means that epics, there's a few that are useful for hard faction wars, but they really fall off hard. I do think if they threw in some epic buffs every now and then, that would help people quite a bit to be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Is it
well,
really that hard to
all
buff
right.
an epic in addition to 2 legendaries, really?
Yeah, I mean, like, just give them small buffs. Just give them something, Like, they don't all have to be massive hits, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
Knock.
Got
I mean,
some hot
seriously,
takes
if the
on that.
epic buff was this epic had 1 turn knocked off their cooldown in these 2
Yeah,
skills, that might be enough to actually make them usable for some people occasionally. That's the type of buffs we're
exactly.
talking about here. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, we kind of talked about this. I'm actually going to bring this up because I think this is a bit of a hot take, but I think that
Ooh.
Empress is a better champion for most accounts than Marius.
Hot
Um,
take. Yeah.
that
You gotta have to sell me here.
Yeah, it's. I mean, here's the thing. Part of it is the fact that Empress, you can actually get him significantly earlier if you're able to do some Chimera, which is an entirely other video that
true.
we talked about on Nub's channel. Go plug that one as well. But he brings he brings possibly your first counter to Stone Skin on your account ever, depending on when you get him. So there's some huge value for you. Get some turn meter control, get some weaken, whatever else. Necrosis is such a powerful ability, and honestly, this form still does a good amount of damage, even if it's not his damage dealing form, quote unquote. That you can often throw him in gear, throw him in this form, and he can just solo waves, help you with waves, help you with, Doom Tower wave content. He can help you in Curse City. He's a mainstay on my Curse City team on my free to play. He's certainly a PvP mainstay because he does so much damage. The fact that you can use him to solo your Sand Devil with 4 food, the only thing you need to do is book one of his skills and then you can do it. And of course, that's getting a mythical book to land in here, which is, probably the most difficult thing about building him from that perspective. He just does so much general good overall in so many areas. And that's not to say the Marius is not great. I just think that and maybe phrasing it better might be for when you get him, Empress is going to have a bigger impact on your account than Marius will for the time when you finally get Marius. But I think that Empress just has a more overall good and utilitarian value for a lot of players. That is just because he can kind of solo stuff, and champions that can solo stuff that are free, it gives you a lot of really good value.
Fair. Okay. I mean, he's a great chat, but hear me out. Marius is insane, like everywhere. He can solo stuff too, man. He can solo stuff too. But yeah, I do think it's a good point that if you have some decent champs or Chimera, if you put in the time, it is much easier to get Empress. Just, take your time, get a few fragments every week. Much easier to get him than Marius, for sure. And you could actually get a mythical fairly early on and have a huge impact. I totally hear you on that. Yeah, that's a really interesting thing to look at, which, being a content creator constantly covering stuff, it's like we get the champions like as they come out, right? Whereas it's like that new player perspective, starting like whatever today from scratch, the order that you get the champions actually is very different from the order that long-term players are getting them. And it can really, really change things up actually in a big way. So it's very true. So you have Empress. Do you have Marius on this account?
No, I don't have Marius yet. I mean, I'm getting there.
There we go. Yeah,
But that might be why you think Gimbris is better than Marius.
I'm
you're
in
getting
the
there, but
I'm
yeah,
in the
it's a
final
fair point.
stretch. My biggest problem is probably I cannot consistently do Fire Knight 10, and that's probably going to be where I sort of stop. But I just mostly solved Ice Golem 10. I've got a 90 to 95% team, which is good enough for the Marius missions. But my team in I mean, to be fair, I rely on the turtles for a lot of stuff right now. So my Fire Knight team is
Sure.
Elva,
Turtles,
and
yeah.
the turtles. So
Yeah. Nice.
it,
Yeah.
it's not a bad team, and to be fair, part of my problem with this account is if I look for ally attackers on this account here, just include all the other things, I don't have any ally
very few.
attackers for the most part. And, Morag is my best ally attacker. Here it is somewhere.
Oh,
Other
wow.
effects,
Yeah,
there it is.
that's rough.
Yeah, so, okay.
Turtles and more, yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, wow,
Palette.
you
So,
got Palace, though. Congrats.
I mean,
That's nice.
and Diana, I mean, I've got a Diana, and she's good.
Yeah.
She's one of the reasons I'm doing as well as I am in the Sylvan Watchers, because she's one of the better damage dealers in the Sylvan Watchers. But still, you're talking about is it this one? No, it's this one here. It's 2 random allies, which is just not something you can use into the Fire Knight reliably.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
So
are you close to Mikage, actually?
I am, and that's the thing too with Mikage is I am these two. I think it's been 9 months and I've been in these two off of Mikage. So
yeah.
It is what it is. In fact, I was 3 for a while, and I just randomly got one from something, and I was like, "Oh, that's not too bad." But it's one of these things where it's just, honestly, it's funny. I was like, I think we were doing the Prism Crystal thing and a couple other things, and it's like, okay, my most wanted from the Prism Crystals is Fat Man. Yes, I realize there's a ton of overpowered, including Wixwell, but Fat Man would actually change his account more than Wixwell would just from a chance of getting Marius. So it's just,
Yeah. That's a good point as well, because ally attack champs being hard to get, like they are one of the ways to counter Mercurial, and it's like, yeah, I mean, from a new player perspective, you just might not get them. What if you just don't get those epics from Mikage for months upon months? Nothing you can do about it. It's all luck. So, yeah, I think it's a great point, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my argument for Empress, at least, and it's maybe, and again, I think we're arguing, who's number 1 and who's number 2, I think is kind of the argument there too. Yeah. So it's not like I'm saying something that's super hot here, but
yes, no, he's insane. Yeah,
awesome,
no question. Okay, here, I've got so many hot takes, man. So many hot takes. Okay, here we go. Hot take: we do not need a dungeon for farming books. I see that's one of the most commonly requested things. Give us the book dungeon. Let me sit there for hours farming for pages for a book. No, we don't need a book dungeon. In fact, it would be shit. There you go. Hot take. So yeah, what I'll say is I think books are used as rewards for substantial things, and like they're sort of time gated. Like you got your monthly quests, your weekly quests. You get them in summon events. You're getting some from Clan Boss. You can now get some from Grim Forest as well. I think if they want more books, they need to add them. You could just add more for rewards for doing stuff. They could be more generous. I'd be fine with that if they're more generous in tournaments and events and whatnot. Yeah, live arena. Give some more. I'm fine with that. No problem with getting more books.
That going away, I think, would be happy for a lot of people. Or even if it was like 4, what's wrong with 4 Polarium, but
there you go. Yeah, 4 and up the drop chance. Why not? Right? I'm fine with that. I think giving players more books is fine. I think book dungeon is definitely the wrong way to do it, because it's just a boring grind, and you'd have to grind so much. Like if you consider how expensive books are in like any sort of event that you have to grind, like that dungeon would have to be such a boring grind. Like they'd be better just adding, like you sometimes drop ancient shards, right? Sometimes get ancients from farming dungeons. They could give you a small chance to drop a book. That's way better than having a specific dungeon for it. But yeah, books they take a long, it's just something that's sort of time gated, takes time to gather them up. No problem with them increasing it a bit, but don't do a specific book dungeon. It's just not good. Not actually good. So yeah, that's a hot take, because I think that's one of that, and like give us the silver dungeon. That's the other one. They're the 2 dungeons that
there's your silver dungeon right there.
Exactly. You already have a silver dungeon. Don't need it. But yeah, again, you've got reliable, renewable sources of books. They could certainly make them a bit more generous, but yeah, it does not need a specific area. Nope.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
mean,
need it.
that's something they could do with the event dungeon now that the event dungeon is coming and going,
Yeah.
is the event dungeon could, because it doesn't drop these ancients, they could add in, it's got a chance to drop a book depending on
Yeah.
what level you're at. So maybe, you know, up through stage 10, it can drop a rare book. Up through stage 25, it could drop an epic book. And then stage 26 through 30 has the random chance of drafting a legendary book. Make it ridiculously low to where most people are going to get 2 books over the course of running it 1,000 times, for example, because I mean, you know, a lot of people will run a dungeon 1,000 times over the course of 2 months when they're open, and
Yeah.
boom, there you've given something from there to, you know, now people will probably complain, oh, what my gear? I'm going to get the gear instead. I'll tell you, unless, you know, if you, especially because you're not guaranteed to get anything cool, I would rather take a legendary book than a, you know,
Oh yeah.
mythical 6-star sleep chest or something like that, you know, just.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like if they made books like just this farmable thing, just go farm it. Doesn't take much time. You know, I think a lot of people as well want it to be an easy farm. Like, oh, I spent 5 minutes farming it and I booked my champion. Kind of like it's just another grind like Minotaur. Like, what's the point? I don't even think Minotaur should even be in the game anymore. Just give people. That's a hot take for you as well. Just give champions masteries for free. Why do we need to grind masteries? Just a waste of time. I think grinding books is also a waste of time and not good gameplay. So yeah, but they'd need to come up with a whole bunch of other stuff to be rewards and events and tournaments to be worthwhile, because that's a role that books fill in the game, is event and tournament rewards.
Yep.
And if you take them out, then they need to come up with something else to fill that spot. I actually think during one of the free-to-play challenges, wasn't it a thing where they replace like some of the books and events with like Titan points or something? And you're like, I can't book any champs. That's a problem for sure. You go, they took the books away. So for a new account, these Titan points or whatever are useless because I can't get enough, but I can't even get the books to actually make progress on the account. Now that's for sure a problem. And they should never remove books as rewards, but yeah. No dungeon, please. No thanks. Make something new and interesting instead.
So here is my hot take. This might be my hottest take of the video, but I think that terrible champions make Raid a great game. And there's some logic to this. So first of all, I'm not saying that, oh boy, you ought to have all these terrible champions in there. There are plenty of champions that should be buffed to be a little bit better. But I think that not every champion is as good as every other champion. And there are plenty of champions that are best in slot. But
Yeah, this is a really interesting video. I don't even know if I'd call these hot takes. I pretty much agree with everything they're talking about.
think it is also fun to have, hey, this champion is not best in slot, but he is good enough to slot in there, lets people build their account uniquely and differently, which is part of what makes Raid a fun game. And to be fair, there's also the, you know, addiction level of that too. So that's certainly a little bit of the gotcha moment of, I want the great champion, I don't get the great champion. But, you know, there's, you know, Morrigan is actually probably a good example that I use a ton of on this account. Morrigan was listed as, oh, she's terrible, she's Lysandra, but not quite as good, whatever else. And she was one of the first legendaries I got on this free-to-play account. And she is still today a PvP staple of this account. She's in my live arena teams most of the time. You know, for the most part, she's kind of arena focused and some PvP focused or PvE focused where I need the speed mechanics specifically for her. But yeah, she's not Lady Kimmy, for example, who was considered better at the time. She's not Lysandra, who was considered better at the time, although I'd argue that she's better than Lysandra. But, you know, she's not even a Shu Zhen or an endgame level speed booster, but she's good enough to do something interesting, and she's interesting in making her work. And it turns out she has some unique mechanics to her that make her absolutely amazing. And, you know, Grim Forest, she's been a mainstay of my Grim Forest teams because of that block healing. She makes Amius a breeze for the most part because of that block healing. And of course, the speed doesn't hurt as well. You know, it's nice to have a variety of champions. That is that champion great? Well, no, they're not great, but they're interesting. They could be usable. I mean, probably a good example recently is Skull-Lord. And yes, they did buff Skull-Lord to make him better. But there's a lot of people that are like, oh, Skull-Lord's trash, he's not that good. It's like, no, he's really good in Lizardman Faction Wars if you don't have a reviver. And even if you do, you might have to be able to get rid of your reviver because suddenly he can do the reviving for you just because of this passive, which is great. You know, yes, it's a single target provoke, but he does it on a 2-turn cooldown if you book this thing. That's actually kind of cool. This heal reduction with the multi-hit can be very reliable. In fact, this is the most reliable heal reduction in the game because he does it twice at 100%, and he might do it another 2 times, and then he might do it another 2 times, and then he might do it another 2 times. You know, this is a champion that has utility that you can enjoy trying to make work on your account. And so, yeah, he's not Lazarius. Yeah, he's not, you know, Predator, but he's a fun champion that is going to give me a unique identity on my account using a champion that's not super exciting. You know, Kraz is probably eventually going to get built on my account. I know he's not Nishak. I don't have a Nishak. What am I supposed to do? Kraz suddenly becomes the next best option for a bombing option for you, although I've got Gaius as well. So it might be Gaius, it might be him. And honestly, probably both of them when I can build a bomber, because it helps to have 2 bombers if you're going to go with a bomb strategy in live arena, because if they just ban your 1 bomber, you're kind of screwed anyway. So having the option to have some of these champions, not the best, but Gaius, still a very good champion. He's got his weaknesses, but still very good for a lot of people overall. You know, Cassandra. I mean, you know, you've had the hot take of Cassandra not being particularly great. At the time, same time, there were people that were like, she's one of the best champions ever. And I've seen her. You can build Cassandra to solo Ice Golem hard 10. You know, it's a pretty tough build because you got to get the speeds just right and you got to get her booked and other stuff like that too. But you know, it gives her something interesting, something worth investing in. And it also means that there's some level of, hey, I'm using my Stock the Broken right now, or like I got Eurogrim and then I got Stock the Broken shortly afterwards. You might think I might require my Eurogrim, but honestly, the 2 of them together make a kind of fun pair, so that's kind of fun. And they're different, well, actually, they're not different factions, so that's not quite a real thing. But, you know, it's nice to get some of these champions, but eventually some of them might get retired. I mean, Supreme Elhain, a decent damage dealer. I built her to 6 stars and whatever else. I didn't book her because I don't think I need the books to make her work. But at some point in time, she's going to get retired for a better damage dealer in elves, because I know there are better damage dealers in elves. But at least until then, I've got something to make do with. And I think the fact that learning to live with the good enough champions you have, and yeah, there's still some terrible champions, is what makes Raid a fun game to play.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I had a very similar point to you here, actually, which was more about the champion buffs, which is, I think when Plarium buffs champions, one of the takes I see all the time is like, they didn't make this champion absolutely broken. It's a terrible buff. Like, I'm not going to use them. It's a terrible buff, and this sucks. And I think that's completely wrong. I think, as you said, champions don't need to be the top of the, like, they don't need to be top tier. They don't need to be the best to be good. I think especially for non-void legendaries, like Harvest Jack, perfect example here. It's like, oh yeah, he's good. He's not the best of the best, but he doesn't need to be, and he shouldn't be the best of the best, but he does something cool and unique now, and he's useful to a decent chunk of people, and he's an interesting option for those teams, and that is a good buff. And like, he shouldn't be better than like a mythical, right? That just doesn't make sense. It's appropriate level for him to be at, and I think that's what I think. There's nothing wrong with these buffs being like, okay, like if they make a D tier champion like a B tier champion, it's like, oh, you know what, that's actually fine. There's nothing D for me. It's interesting you said like terrible champions are good for the game. I was like, I feel like, you know, D tier like legendaries is not good. I think that there's like a base floor that the terrible legendary should be at, but for me, like a B tier, maybe even like a C tier, but you know, certainly a B tier legendary is totally fine. And then I would say with void legendaries, I personally, again, would want the floor to be a bit higher. Like maybe I want them to be like A tier, like minimum for a void. But, you know, they don't all need to be plus. They don't all need to be Marishka, right? She can be better than some of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, I also don't want them to be useless, but yeah, so.
I think one of my favorite ones that I've seen, somebody did a take recently where they were talking about Vlad, and they were saying, Vlad's a terrible champ. And I'm like, what year are you in?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he was one of my first void legendaries on my main, because I started, Rorik was the first fusion I completed on my main. terrible champion, but I loved him because he was one.
Yeah.
At the time, it was so hard for me to get like legendaries. I ended up using him in a ton of places because he gave me enough turn meter control to be functional in a lot of areas where I wasn't otherwise. So I got a lot of good use out of booking my Rorik. Yeah, I kind of regret it, like, 2 years later, but you know what? I probably wouldn't have finished some of the stuff I needed to finish if I didn't have back time, which, makes him kind of fun, even if I admit he's terrible and needs a buff. Vlad was usable in a couple of areas beforehand and got the huge buff. And I mean, the fact that he's got AoE block active skills on a 3-turn cooldown, I don't think a lot of people remember that he does AoE. This is great. And he veils himself to protect himself a bit. Yeah, he's stupid squishy. Yeah, he does okay-ish damage as a hybrid damage dealer debuffer, but he brings the leech with turn meter stuff. He brings decreased defense and block active skills. If I told you I had an AoE champion that brought you those 4 debuffs and that was all they did, you'd say, okay, I could find a use for them. Well, Vlad does that all while doing a decent amount of damage and having some max HP damage here as well. And he's void, so you can't weak hit with him. What's not to like about Vlad, even if I'm not saying he's a top tier champion?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think he's a great example of he's not a top tier void, but he's good and he does something cool and unique, and he's genuinely useful. Which is where you want to be. Lil
And even
Masani was a
Valkanen,
good book.
he's unique and making
He's
him a
unique,
fun void
yeah.
legendary. He's certainly not top tier, and a lot of people might be disappointed by pulling him, but he is unique. He actually has some good uses in a couple places, and just, nothing wrong with having a champion that is unique, niche, and could be better, but not bad. We got time for one more hot take. Let's get something else from you.
Okay, let me see. I'm trying to see which is going to be the hottest take. Oh, here's a hot take as well for something. The game wasn't better back in the good old days, Bron. Back in the God, PvP was so much better back in the day, or back in the whatever, any area of the game. You see this quite a lot, and it's like, I think 90% of the time, 90% is just someone who's got bored of the game or got burnt out, and it's like, you just need to move on. It wasn't better back then. Like, yeah, I think the game is actually in one of the better places it's been overall. Again, is it perfect? No, there's clearly lots of improvements that could be made, hopefully might be made, we'll see. But on the whole, you now have, for a champion collector, way more interesting champions to collect than ever before. The buffs that they're doing to champions, as we talked about, generally really good. Even though they're not OP, they're making irrelevant champions relevant to not everybody, but to many players. And some of them they're making really good, more content than ever. You can progress through that content faster than ever. There's more quality of life changes than ever. I think for PvP, the meta is actually quite varied. No, the game was never free-to-play friendly in like Arena. The Krakens were always smashing everybody else, and they didn't really have a chance. Like, sure, they didn't have all these power things back then, but the game was so young that people didn't have the champions or the gear or whatever, and Krakens could buy that, and maybe it's not so relevant now, like the gear stuff, but yeah, it was a thing back then. I don't know. I think there's the rose-tinted glasses looking back. I mean, I'm sure I think it'd be more accurate to say, perhaps, that there's something special about the game, perhaps when you're starting out. The longer you play, it becomes a different sort of game. But I think people confuse that. They confuse I've been playing for 5 years and I'm kind of bored. And they say, now the game is worse because the game is worse. When actually it's, well, no, that your relationship with the game has changed because you've been playing it for 5 years, right? And that changes things. I think that the game itself, like the freebies to Kickstart accounts now are better than ever. I think it's in one of the better spots it's been. I don't know how you feel about it. You've got a better perspective, I would say, because you've actually started on a free-to-play account and you've put proper time into it. So you have a much more clear new player impression of the game than I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot more going for it. I mean, it's one of these things where people complain about, like, I was talking about using the code RAID7 for a new account to get Pelops. He's the fusion. But I think what a lot of people are like, they're giving away the fusion for free. Why do I have to do it? Well, yeah, because you've been playing for 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. You have an account capable of actually doing a fusion. You literally cannot do a fusion if you start an account within the first 7 days of the fusion starting, because you can't even access the right tournaments for it. So you literally cannot complete the fusion. And if you can, it means you spent money getting the stuff, because there's no way you had the resources, the ability to do the dungeons, the ability to do all the tournaments, as well as the shards that you need for a fusion. So trying to get new people in with a good new fusion and offering that for free, that makes some sense. I think that's a great way to get new players in the game. And if they don't get
Yep.
new players into the game, what happens is the players that leave make the game pool smaller, and then the game shrinks, and then the game dies. So you need to be having new people in the game as much as whatever else. So a lot of this
I'll
stuff that
actually,
makes the
yeah, I actually want to jump in right there and
Sure.
say I think the Pelops thing is an interesting test, because what you can have in it, I think the Turtles was a perfect example of it. Again, it's one of the things I like to talk about, where I saw like a post on Reddit from a player said, I joined this game because the Turtles and I got my Michelangelo for free. I tried to do the Donatello fusion. I can't do it because I'm a new player. And I said, wait, I can't actually get the Turtles. So I think with limited time champions in events, and you've got a limited time fusion that is going to be gone forever, bringing in the new players, like imagine, I don't know, let's say Mortal Kombat, whatever, being like, okay, new players, as you said, can't do the fusion. We're going to give them the fusion for free. Like, yeah, you're going to have these people in the comments kicking off and like, why do they get it for free and I've got to work for it? Well, it's so that the new players joining the game as part of the event can actually enjoy the event. And yeah, like, you know, you've got so much stuff they don't have. So yeah, I think it's actually a really, while I mean, it does suck a little bit, obviously, that they get something for free that you have to work for. It sucks a little bit, but I think it's really good for new players and good for the game to actually do that. So I think it's actually a really good thing that they do. So it's good that you brought that up, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of these things too, because there are so many codes for great legendary champions.
Yeah,
Demon Slayer
you're
for
losing out on
Fallen, who's
something.
actually a really good starter champion for a lot of players. You've got
Yeah.
Tuhana Rock as an option for people with the code. They had Supreme Gallic for a little while, which was one of the better starter codes I think they've done for a while. I actually kind of wish they brought that one back too. I think he's a great
Yeah.
starter champion. But they've fair. They replaced her with Cecia, who's not my top pick, but I can see where AoE HP burn on a legendary that can ignite that seems like kind of a tempting thing to start off with as well. So, you know, and here's the thing too. They get the legendary, but they can't book the legendary right away. I mean,
That's true as
you,
well.
you,
Yeah.
you did the free-to-play challenge for a little while, and you picked, what's his name? Staltus, right? Or not Staltus.
Sigmund. It was
Sigmund,
Sigmund
that's
at
right.
the time.
You
Yeah.
know, and you ended up never booking him for a while because I don't know if you ever did
No
book him or
bucks.
not. But, you know, you didn't really need to book him. He wasn't perfect unbooked, but he was usable unbooked for a while and did some useful stuff for you a while. You know, some of these champions don't need to be booked. That's actually why I like Pelops as a code, honestly, because the fact that you don't need to book this dude to get some value out of him. This is, okay, this is on a 4-turn cooldown instead of a 3-turn. Okay, this is a 4-turn cooldown instead of a 3-turn cooldown.
Yeah. Not a big
Okay,
deal.
this decrease attack is only 50% instead of 75%, you know? Nothing game breaking about him if you don't book him. Very, very nice kit from that perspective. Yeah, I think that definitely the game is a much better position. I mean, probably the worst position I recall the game being at, honestly, from an arena perspective, was the Tarish Marishka meta that lasted way too long. And
That was bad.
that was bad, particularly because that was right around when they finally started shifting towards, let's give people tanky damage dealers, because I was actually trying to get into Platinum at the time. I had a Georgid, and what I was running Georgid, Rhodos, Siphi, and I think Arbiter, so I had the speed boost going for me as well. It was a pretty functional team most of the time, but Taurus Marishka was a problem on that, and it was because Taurus had no way to really counter him, while you also couldn't counter Marishka easily, so it made it rough. And the fact that Taurus Marishka is still a meta combination 3 years later, 4 years later at this point in time, lets you know how powerful those champions were. But that was a problem. Stoneskin certainly was an interesting problem early on, but I mean, they quickly brought out Georgid. They did eventually do the bomb changes, although some of the stuff was before the bomb changes. So they've made some adjustments to it. And I guess in some ways, talk about the current Mercurial Scourge or whatever it is for that sort of stuff too. They will figure out ways to have counters from Mercurial, and they have to find ways, I think, that are not just, let's introduce a new champ who can counter Mercurial. It has to be things that are more accessible in some way, shape, or form. Maybe a certain debuff works through them, or maybe they stop blocking control debuffs, for example. if they stop, honestly, if they stop blocking control debuffs and that was the only thing that they did, suddenly that would still mean you have to build resistance on your Mercurial champions, for example, if you don't want to get controlled. And that would give you an option to at least, okay, I can slow this guy down and then I can try to whittle down something else. Because right now you can't slow them down, you can't debuff them, you have to knock them several times and then hope you can kill them or get a block debuffs up or something like that. You know, it's just, so there's, you know, yeah, the shift has certainly gone to a defensive tanky shift, but that's not unlike Stone Skin happening
Awesome. Dude, we just got the cat's gaze on this 7-day-old free-to-play account.
beforehand, and things will happen from there. But the rest of the game is in a much better shape, and they have been a lot more proactive with balance changes, even if we complain about how they're only balancing 2 legendary champions. The fact that they're balancing any legendary champions at all is still an improvement. They've gone back and done some changes to things like Chimera, which is something we never would have expected years ago. There's just, you know, quality of life improvements abound in the tavern, making them, you know, improved. Just all kinds of things. There's still plenty of stuff that they need to do. But yeah, it really is a much better game now than it was. And yeah, to be fair, I'm probably a little salty about the Tarch Marishka thing because that countered my preferred arena team pretty hard. So there wasn't much I could do about it. So
it was legitimately bad. I think that was the worst arena meta because it was, you had that duo or you had nothing. Like nothing could beat them. Like it was so bad. And it was there for so long as well. And like, yeah, I think the meta, right, again, there's problems. And obviously you were talking about Mercurial and, you know, I'm not sure exactly which way it goes. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's not enough counters and they should add more. I think one of the problems actually with Stone Skin, which I think wasn't as bad as people made it out to be either, again, but one of the problems is that a lot of the counters weren't accessible. Like we mentioned, you just sell all the Stone Cleaver gear, right? Because it's not worth the hassle. Like that's supposed to be a counter to Stone Skin that never was functional. So like, it's not that it's not that the game's perfect. There are some clear big problems, etc. But yeah, possibly there will be stuff added in to counter Mercurial in the future. So we'll see. You know, it's one of the things, they introduce a problem and then slowly drip feed the solution. But it's the way the game has always been. Taras Marishka, the solution was far too slow.
yeah,
and they're still really good. So.
the real, I mean, I think the real counter to the Tarch Marishka team was when they basically gave away Narcissus for free if you had 120 voids. Which
yeah, well, it's a broad definition of free. I think Carnage is probably the ideal sort of free counter. Again, it takes a long time to get him, and Empress is decent as well. I don't know. Yeah, it's just. Sort of
I mean, we're talking about Stock the Broken. Stock the Broken's a counter the Marishka.
He's great.
Meta.
Yeah,
he's a really weird
really
one, but he's a counter the Marishka meta that a lot of people don't, you know, see because of that passive where this stuff ignores block damage and unkillable. So suddenly that combined with the Arachne Elixir, combined with other champions as well, suddenly you're actually able to get through Marishka's poisons with poison teams, which are suddenly viable in arena, which is something I think when they started making poisons, oh, we'll have this blessing in arena, but no one uses poisons in arena, so that sucks. And then they, you know, and no one uses burns. Well, suddenly burns can deal with Stone Skin. Oh, okay, maybe burns are actually kind of useful now, and that particular thing is
that was a good change. Yeah. But I mean, even like back in the the glory days of pre-Stone Skin, it was so good. It's like then it was just, you know, there was meta where it's just speed. And again, like, yeah, if you were farming thousands of dollars worth of speed gear every day, then yeah, it was a great time for you. But yeah, it wasn't a great meta for most people. And just being like, well, if I'm not faster, I just lose. That's how arena meta was for a while. Just the fastest wins. So whoever farmed speed gear the most just won.
Like, you know, I've got a 370 speed Arbiter on my free to play right now, which is not amazing. In the old meta, that would have been possibly platinum worthy, and if I was 350 I couldn't get into platinum. That's the kind of, and it was literally a case of how fast is your Arbiter. Hope yours isn't fast enough, you lost. That exactly. You know, and then Stones can change that. And again, so yeah, it's just there's a lot going on here with these things, and it's just you know, there's a lot of that the rate has changed, and they've done some good stuff. It's actually nice to call them out for some of that stuff. All right, so my final hot take. There's a lot of options here because there's a lot of stuff we could talk about.
Pick the spiciest. I know you covered your spiciest. Get the second spot. Whatever is the spiciest thing left, throw it in the spice bag. Let's go.
Here we go. This is a good one. I don't think the shard rates, these champion drops that everyone says are absolutely terrible, are the problem with shard summons.
Ooh. Go
So
on.
I think a lot of people focus on these rates, and I think to be fair, a lot of people are like, 2x sacreds, I should pull say no, sacreds are a tool for fusions. So that's once you can kind of get into that mode of the game, doing fusions generally is pretty easy. You pull the other ones on 2x's for the most part. You save some of them. Maybe you don't pull everything all the time, so you start building up reserves. But I think that if Raid wants to solve this, I can't struggle to get these champions thing, they're better off just throwing more shards at you rather than changing the rates. And it doesn't have to be
That's
a
true.
ton more shards. And to be fair, I think they've done this. We're getting sacreds a little bit more often. There's more places to get sacreds off and on. They've, give them out occasionally for free in certain other events. Primals have certainly increased your ability to get legendaries in general because the chance is so much better, and the mercy is, well, not great, but better than, with voids and ancients. And they have found ways to get a few more shards here, a few more shards there. And of course, with the progressives, you have chances to actually get some of these champions you actually want a little bit better with the pool. But I think, honestly, they're better off just increasing the few more shards that everyone's getting, finding subtle ways. Maybe it even is just, hey, just so you guys are aware, Clan Boss is now going to be 5% more likely to get you a shard of some kind. Something as simple as that would make the game feel more generous because, yeah, it sucks when you have to pull 220 ancients, but if I can save 100 ancients in between 2x ancients every time, it's not quite as bad. And to be fair, I can usually do that. It's not that hard to get 80 ancients in between ancient events on this account, for example. Sacred Charge, you're getting, what is it, between 8 to 12 is the average I think you get a month if you do just about everything, and that doesn't include some of the newest stuff. So... yeah, I don't think that the shard rates are the problem. Everyone says the rates are the problem, the mercy is the problem. They're not great, but if you know that going in, but you have a ton of them, you get a lot of fun of, hey, maybe this RNG could swing my way and I can get a bunch of really, really cool stuff anyway, because, sometimes, sacred shards. Everyone loves them because, like, they see those pulls. Like, I had a non-2x where I pulled 7 sacreds and got 4 legendaries.
Ooh.
It was a lot of fun. They're all trash, but it was a lot of fun because it was all these, actually I don't think they were all trash. They just weren't useful on the account other than duplicates, but they were at least, 4 legendaries. It was kind of cool. And it was like, this is ridiculous, but you can't expect that sort of thing. And that's the kind of thing people expect from these sacred shards. 2x people are expecting honestly, I think people treat a 2x like a 4x or a 6x type thing too. So that doesn't help either. That like, why am I not getting legendaries every 10 pull or something like that on my voids? It's like, no, it should be about 1 in every 100 to 200 is kind of where you're at. So
yeah, like someone walks into 2x voids with 30 void shards and like, I'm guaranteed a void. Right? I'm disappointed if I don't get the void. You're like, well, I mean, you're not that likely to get them. Like, it's much more likely you don't get one than you do with 30 voids and a 2x even. It's not that many, but yeah, I think my overall vibe on the shards, I feel like my feeling, without looking up any stats, my feeling is that ancients and sacreds you get a fine amount of. I think void shards is a little stingy, and I think primal shards is too stingy. I think we could definitely get more of those. I think they've improved it. Like, I think Grim Forest, that's been great. And I think like the extra remnants from Grim Forest is really nice as well. And yeah, I think they probably will do Void Mythicals this year, which presumably then will give you more Void Epics and Void Legendaries from those shards. I presume it's a new shard type. I don't know. That'd be my guess.
Would it be a hot
that
take
will
for me to
improve.
say I think Void Mythicals is a mistake?
You think? Ooh. Well, it'll happen eventually.
I think it'll happen, but I think it'll be a mistake because the one thing that Mythicals have as a weakness to them is they're all affinity related. So there's still possibly affinity counters for them. And that makes Void Legendaries still special. And the moment there becomes Void Mythicals, unless they are in another even rarer shard, at which point in time everyone's going to buckle from that. I think you're just kind of lacking. Unless they change primals a little bit to primals actually include Void Champions. At which point in time, the Void Shards, you no longer have to worry about that issue if you just said you don't get enough Void Shards. Because if primals now include Void Champions as well as other champions at a lower rate, then you've kind of solved the issue.
I think it'll be a different shard entirely. But yeah, they'd be super rare. Yeah, I think it'd be okay. I think people will get it and be like, let's say they bring out a new, the new. It's like what primals are to ancients. Bring out a new shard that's that, but to voids instead. But I think people would look at it and be like, I'm really upset because I don't have I'm not getting a void mythical. But it's like, oh, but you're gonna get more void epics and you're gonna get more void legendaries. It's not so bad. That's a good thing too. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I do
Um,
think that they need to
we'll
actually
see.
put a mercy tracker in here somewhere because it's.
I think a mercy tracker, makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever seen this before too. It's actually kind of fun. The primal shards actually do have a mercy tracker of sorts. Not the primal, the prism shards. The prism shards,
Oh.
if you actually are in mercy, the odds actually adjust.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So, I mean, to
I've
be fair,
never had 20 prisms, so I never know.
in order to know that, you have to get into mercy and prisms, which is like 20 prisms. So it's, But yeah, the odds will actually adjust if you get into that mercy. So they have the technology. I mean, they have the technology anyway,
Okay.
but it would be nice to just kind of know, click in here and it would say, just somewhere here. I mean, they've got this little space in the
Yeah.
corner here, or maybe down here somewhere else, or up here, plenty of spots they can put it in the UI. Or even force people to go here to see their mercy and just put it in the mercy system and say, your mercy is here in this little mercy help information bar or something like that. Just little
It'd be
things
such
like
a great
that would be
quality
nice.
of life thing.
And that I think would
I
probably make these odds feel better, because I think so many people are like, I can't remember the legendary I got 3 months ago, so I feel I'm not in mercy. I'm in near mercy. And so many people feel they're closer to mercy than they actually are. I mean, heck, I use RSL Helper to track my mercy, and half the time I can't remember what my mercy is because sometimes it's down and then I've pulled and I didn't realize it, and oh crap, I'm not actually near mercy like I thought I was because my trackers aren't accurate, So, but yeah, just I don't think the odds are the problem. I think the odds are fine. I think the odds are better solved by having a few more shards rather than better odds.
Yeah, I think scarcity in the champions is good. It creates that value, the excitement, and like you said, the gamble as well of when you do get those pulls and you get several good pulls from it. You're like, oh my god, like I beat the odds, and it's a really hype moment. So yeah, I don't really have a problem with the odds, to be honest. But yeah, I do think that the primals and the voids I do think that those are too scarce for players, and like mythicals are really fun, but I think it's a little too difficult for players to actually get mythicals to play with, which is a bummer because again, it's improving. Grim Forest improved it, and it's good. It's a step in the right direction.
The fact that I've got 15 primal shards on my free to play here, most people have probably 5 to 10 in the same time, because I'm actually doing some live arena, and in some cases I'm doing, all 5 wins in the live arena, or if I'm doing all 10 of my battles. In fact, I was just before we were doing this, I was doing some live arena, and of course I fell 1 win short of actually, getting my 5th chest here, which is certainly kind of annoying. But the people that aren't doing live arena, that's where you farm primals. And so the people that say they're not getting primals, well, it's live arena. And if you complain that live arena needs mythicals, well, hey, we've been on this account here. I'm in gold 4. I've got almost 10,000 points in live arena. If I can do it with this account, you can probably figure out how to do it with your account. It takes some effort, but a lot of it is the matchmaking will match you up with people you can beat at some point in time. So
yeah, you'll get bad fights, but you'll get some reasonable ones as well. Yeah, I think a hot take for me would be like live arena. I think people are too harsh on it. Just people don't like losing, right? And obviously in live arena you're gonna lose a lot. If the matchmaking is good, you should lose half the games. But yeah, obviously it's not always perfect, and like spend enough money, you're just gonna win. But a good strategy can win you more.
What's up, man?
As well, but eventually that will be countered out by matching you with stronger opponents. But yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah. Anyway,
So-
it's enough hot takes, I think, for one
yeah, I
video.
think that's enough hot takes here. So, but it's not a hot take. Go check out Nubs. He's got a great channel. He's a great content creator. I always love talking with him as well. It's always fun. You got any final thoughts other than the live arena's not a?
No.
3 absurdly useful tips and tricks that you want to keep in mind on your raid account that don't really fit into any other type of video. Now, if you're only farming normal mode Doom Tower, that's fine. Do your best. I'm currently in normal mode Doom Tower on my own free-to-play account and struggling like crazy. It takes a while to start to conquer Doom Tower, right? But as soon as you are able to farm into hard mode Doom Tower, start farming in hard mode Doom Tower is the first thing, this isn't the tip, but this is the first thing, right? You want to be getting even just a small amount of legendary crafting materials so you can start crafting 6-star artifacts from the Doom Tower bosses. That's always going to be infinitely better than doing normal mode Doom Tower, but what you want to do is farm as far as you can into hard mode Doom Tower until you reach your limit or until you reach the boss that you're looking to farm. Maybe it's Griffin. In this rotation, it's probably Darkfire. And only once you reach the boss that you're looking to farm or you've hit your limit on like the best boss that you can farm for that current rotation, only then should you go in and farm the secret rooms. Why? Because while it does cost you a silver key to farm a secret room, you get 2 silver keys back for clearing the secret room. That means that you're 1 silver key up, and that means that you've got more silver keys then to tunnel in and to spend into the boss that you're looking to farm in Doom Tower. You don't want to cash in on those silver keys until you've reached the boss that you're looking to farm. And this is so important because silver keys reset at the end of every day. It means if you want to be super optimal with your Doom Tower farming, reach the boss that you're looking to farm first, and then cash in on all of your silver keys and effectively farm all of your extra silver keys from the secret rooms at that point, so you can spend them straight away. And you see what I mean, man? Slightly obscure tips that we're going to be covering in this one, but very useful stuff nonetheless. And I'm doing a lot of just random little stuff like this, and efficiency tips are going to come into play bigly for me today on my own main account. So I thought I'd go ahead and shoot this video, man. Now, man, before we get to the rest of the video, if you were looking to start off a new raid account the right way with a special anniversary promo link gifting Wither the Crown,
Mimic with no heal reductions down.
as well as 3 insane epic champions, and of course Pelops as a day 1 legendary champion by using code RAID7 on day 1 of your new raid account. Then click on the beginner link that's down below this video at the top of the description box, man, and use that link to create your new raid account right now, man, for all of the free stuff that you see on screen right now. It's the anniversary special. It's absolutely popping. It's an incredible time to create a new raid account, man, so get that link clicked, and let's get back to the video. Secret room down, some fragments come in, and of course those 2 silver keys that we're talking about. So I want to go ahead and farm through all of my secret rooms on both normal and hard mode Doom Tower and put those all straight away into farming Darkfire in this current rotation. Next tip, Cursed City, Amius is a massive bloody pain. Oh, this is normal mode. Okay, on hard mode Amius, I'm ready to take him on, man. He's a massive bloody pain. Just build a champion that can solo him. Oh, and I say it like it's a very easy thing to do. It's not, right? However, if you've been playing Raid for a while, you know, like a decent amount of time, you might have your hands on good old Lemony C the Goldwing. And because she's the Logan Reward legendary champion, or she was like a while back, you've probably got a 5-star soul for Lemony C the Goldwing as well, which makes her much tankier than she would otherwise be, and gives her a 5-star blessing that we can go ahead and put into Brimstone. So when it comes to using Lemony C the Goldwing against Amius, here's what you want to do, gosh darn it. You want to just throw in regeneration and immortal gear. She's got to be able to live, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put her in a full Amius build here, so she's just mega kitted out. These are the stats that I'm running on my Lemony, and she's rocking about 76k HP, about 3.6k defense. You could probably like give and take this a little bit, maybe like lose 5,000 HP, but gain like 300 defense or something like that, and you can probably still get the job done. The speed is coming in at 265. It's a little bit of a tough build to pull off. She's also going to have enough accuracy to land the heal reduction debuff against Amius as well. Well, does she need it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does actually need it. But whatever, you could use these stats as basically a guideline for your Lemony. In the relic slot, we've got a golden elixir equipped, so the wearer is instantly healed by 10% when the HP drops below 50%. We're just trying to turn her into a bloody live lord, okay? That's really it. We've also got a happy little bosses deal 5% less damage to the wearer gem in this thing as well. Very good to have. And then
How's it going, man? You doing all right tonight?
masteries look like this. Full just live lord mode. That's all we tried to do with the Lemony in this build. And yes, I've committed my masteries as well to being able to do this against Amius on the Lemony C, because I don't really have that much use for it anywhere else in the account, you know? So I mean, you might be using it as like a block buffs champion or something into Hydra for a while on your account if you're very desperate for options. I've seen it happen before on people's early game accounts, and it makes sense. But if you can go ahead and build your Lemony C in this kind of build for Cursed City to take her into Amius, she can just solo the crap out of this. So what you want to do is, generally speaking, include a speed aura lead champion in the team, so she's moving even faster. You can probably get away with like an HP aura that can help out as well. And this is it. This is the team. This is the squad. We just lob her in, right? teammate's gonna die. Like, the Lazarius is just gonna die. It's just sort of, whatever. We're just gonna use our A1 a whole lot against the boss, for the most part. We're just gonna PvE the crap out of the boss until it transforms. And again, like, the Lazarius' days, in this case, are numbered. You don't have to be running, like, a mythical quality champion. Here, like Speed Aura, you know, a bloody high cartoon will probably do just fine.
It's going
And then
good,
we
man.
are
Just
really
farming
going
up
to
arena.
wait
How's your
until
fusion
the
going?
Enemy's blue buff up here, up at the top left of the screen. Wait until...
Yeah, Herndog hits like a Mack truck, man. At one point, he was like part of the meta arena. Now you probably couldn't run him like very, very in-game. Like, you're probably not going to go platinum with him unless you have a really good team to put with him. But yeah, you can definitely run him up into like gold 4.
That buff up above my head right now has 1 turn left on it. I think. It's been a while since I've done this. I think it's until it's got 1 turn left on the sucker. And then oh god, my Lazarius got some cooldown reduction, and so it set off a extra attack on the Abius. Lazarius, gosh darn it, we just needed you to die, man. Fine, we'll throw Neko in instead. Alright, here we go. It's got 1 turn bloody duration left, and then we're just gonna why is he just taking an extra turn? What's he doing? What, like, what, when? What is this? Whatever, dude. Okay, whatever. The Lemonese is the only one that's left alive. Amy's does strange things from time to time. What I actually should be doing here, by the way, is using my A2. If the Amy's ever gets a buff up, like he is like a random increased attack buff here, how did that happen? Don't know. Who cares? You don't need to know how this boss works if you got a Lemonese Goldwing, okay? But yeah, if you just get a buff up, just sort of randomly, then you do have her A2, which has a chance of removing random buffs from the enemy. So we can go ahead and throw that in and just peel that increased attack buff off of him. So, you know, Lemonese has got that going for her as well. It's another reason that accuracy is so important, but of course, accuracy is equally important to stop the Amius from using his heal as he switches back into his blue form. So once again here, hopefully we're actually going to get to do it this time, and we get to see the Amius suffer from this heal reduction. So he's got
I forgot what type of
on his blue
champions
buff.
do you have to pair him
Bam!
with?
We throw up the good old heal reduction, and then bam, when he tries to use his heal, sod all happens. And so you just do this on repeat, and it's not very interesting to watch. So I guess I'm just going to cut ahead to the end of the fight, but we just literally spam air ones against the Amius now for like the rest of the fight. And again, we just wait until his blue buff goes up again. There it is. He switches form into red form, so he's just counting down again until he goes back into his blue form. So as soon as that's got 1 turn duration left, we just do exactly the same thing as we did before. We go ahead and we apply the heal reduction. Oh my goodness. You're going to be a little bit cautious of just a sweaty amount of crits coming in, but here it is. The heal reduction goes up again. He tries to use his heal, he fails miserably, and away we go. So I guess I'll just skip ahead now. Oh, also, like, the elixir relic is such a... Oh, I should have peeled the... He has a heal on himself. I'm supposed to peel that. Oh god. Okay, so it's a long and annoying fight, but only if you're an idiot like me. So hopefully you're not, and you can get this done in about like 15 minutes with the Lemonese solo. Just want to show me doing it professionally at least one time. So he's got 1 turn blue buff duration left. We go ahead, we put up the heal reduction. He tries to heal. He fails miserably. Because he's got a heal reduction debuff right now, we do need to pay attention to converting that into
Oh, you got Maria.
do just now. But before
You definitely need to level her
fast
up.
enough to stop that heal from triggering, seriously? Ah, whatever. Well, normally when he converts the heal reduction debuff into a heal, that's when you go ahead and use the A2 on the Lebanese, just to shut that down, you know what I'm saying? And that's it. Really? Oh, he just healed himself to full, dude. The only thing about this is that it's a big coin toss as to whether or not you kill him while he's in red form or in blue form. And of course, if you kill him in red form, he just revives himself. And so it's
To be
really
honest,
annoying.
man,
It's literally just a
you have an
50-50 fight.
Eric's.
Is your,
That would probably
Brimstone
be your
blessing
best
gonna
arena
kill him in red
champion.
form or kill him in blue form? It's completely RNG, and so you just gotta kind of go until the Brimstone kills him while he's in blue and not in red, you know? Oh god. It's really, really depressing when it goes wrong. Like, that's another 5
Bells
minutes of
is
my
okay,
life,
but
right there, you know?
Maria
Holy hell.
is
Another thing
awesome,
that I should
man.
be doing to make this even
Herndik's
easier
really
is
good
taking advantage
too,
of this card is
but I
increase
see that
speed
you
by
have
8 for each
Eric's.
dead ally on
Eric's
an
is
enemy system.
A1 is one of the
Before.
hardest
So what
hitting
you
AoE
actually want to
A1s
do
in the game.
is, throw on a team with a bunch
Outside of
free
mythicals,
champions
it may
as
be
well.
the
This is
hardest
gonna help
hitting
out us even more.
A1
Just means more
like
healing.
AoE.
There we are, man. Bunch of one-star
And
free champions. I've also took, like, basically all my
Maria
gear off
can
his
take
eyes,
care
I'm
of
just gonna try and
mercurial
make him
gear
die
pretty
much
easily,
faster. He does have a better
and
speed
one-shot
overall,
most
so
people in the
hopefully I
game
can
and
just
ignore
sort of let
Stone
this all
Skin.
a little bit until they're dead, and
So
then can
I
really
would
start
definitely
really
level up
and,
Eric's
the lemony
for,
is gonna be
and
fast
Eric's is
enough.
also
Oi, oi,
really
oi.
tanky and hard to
We might
kill.
actually
She
be
has a
able to do it here,
passive
lads.
that
We're
keeps her
actually
alive
be able to
pretty
do it here,
well.
man. I was
And she
hoping
has
we
an
would have a
AoE
brimstone
stun.
there, but
I would
again,
definitely level up
it's all fine, it's
Eric's
all fine. We might
and
still
run
have enough
her,
damage in the tank here to actually pull this off as we come in with what might be the
I would
final
run
heal reduction
her,
here in the
Maria,
brimstone. Is it enough damage to kill?
Maki,
Yes, just as he switches it.
and
Bloody beautiful. That one only took
maybe
5 minutes.
Hakatoon is the
That run.
speed lead if you have the gear to do it.
Look at all these 5
But if not, then Alice.
Did you get 1 6-star?
Wukong is definitely a contender, and so is Loki, though.
Man. That's the real tip. Parry, you seeing this, man? What are we doing this? Crit damage 5 seconds. No, man. No, I don't even. I'm going to use ores to re-roll these. Honestly,
And yeah,
I'm
dude,
just gonna
that's
go
very
for it.
lucky. I pulled 3 Legos
Ooh,
last
okay,
night. I got Xavier, Septimus, and
I feel like playing
forget the
massively
other
need to
one.
look at this. Like 5-star accessories and artifacts are not it for like for any account that's just more developed. Like, oh, they're mythical quality. Yeah, but they're 5 stars, man, and it's supersonic. Like I like supersonic set. I use it on my Lord Entertainer Fabian, but still just supersonic. Last tip, Grim Forest. Here we go. Here we go, man. Whether in normal mode Grim Forest or hard mode Grim Forest is what you want to do. Gosh darn it. Don't bother even sniffing these little loot goblin fights right here.
I got
against
2
this guy
from
called
Ancients and 1 from Void.
Phigius. Phrygius. Don't even bother fighting this guy until you've cleared
How many
everything.
Ancients did
Straight
you
up,
pull
right?
overall?
You need to have the best possible stats that you can muster. And another thing that you want to do is make sure that you don't have like, okay, we got like a 2-star relic here. We can get like this one as well. Ooh, we'll be using like this 2-star relic here. Pay attention to what gosh darn curios you're using inside of Grim Forest, right? Once you've cleared everything, and the only thing you give a damn about is doing as much damage as you can to Phrygius, right? And you're looking to actually max out your Grim Forest rewards, right? This is important now. I can see people already, oh, it's Grim Forest, oh, closing the video, man. This doesn't apply to me. Dude, you gotta maximize your rewards in this thing, right? So you gotta do as much damage as you possibly can into Phrygius.
Oh,
20
nice.
million damage gets you max
I
rewards, max amount
pulled,
of
that's about
of
what I
coins to
pulled,
spend,
maybe
and
not
buying
quite.
more
I pulled
chests
40 or
from,
50.
the shop, right?
And,
for like a final rewards
like
pledge
15
from
voids.
the vendor, getting like the large vendor chests and stuff like that, right? You want to maximize your rewards in this, long story short, okay? So make sure that you farmed everything first. You get the highest squad progress level that you can get.
One
and all
of
the
them
best
I
bonus
got
stats
on
you
the
can get,
same
which are all above my head
temple.
right now. But then double
Or
check
2
your
of them,
curios.
sorry.
This rock.
Let
Right
me
here,
send you this
right?
screenshot.
Marling Stone. Decrease the damage allied champions receive from poison and HP burn debuffs by a bunch. This is useless into Phrygius. This doesn't do anything at all, okay?
Check
Switch
that out.
down into literally anything else that just gives you like a good general boost to your combat power, like this Dragon Astrolabe right here, right? At the start of each ally turn, have a chance to decrease a random ally skill cooldown by 110. Very, very good. Equally, we got the apple over here, bro. What does the apple do? Increase the amount of Grim coins gained for completing battles by a percentage. Like, what? Useless. This is a great curio to equip very, very early on inside of Grim Forest, but later on, like once you're just looking to maximize damage against Phrygius, useless, okay? Just get something like the Netherbite Knife equipped instead, just extra max HP damage. Throw something on like that instead. You're basically gearing up for the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny against Phrygius to try and maximize the coinage rewards that you're getting from all of these Phrygius fights, right? They're kind of like scattered all over the map, right? One here, one there, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm just going to clear up some of these final battles here, and then I'm going to go on to some Phrygius action and touch on maybe a little bit of team building for Phrygius as well, because he can be a little bit frustrating. No, not like this. Not like this. Sheep go. Oh my god! We actually get. Oh my god! A sheep deacon actually got us through this challenge stage, bro. Oh my god. Anyway, cutting ahead a little bit. Why did I just get way
I didn't
better
realize
rewards
tomorrow
from
was
just, like,
2x
beating a
on
random
problems.
challenge stage in Hard Grim Forest that I got from beating Amius on Hard Curse City, bro? Anyway. Oh my god! Look at this banner.
I'm gonna have to buy some
it's
primal
actually the
shards. I didn't
perfect banner.
realize that.
Oh, I can't wait to
I'm
bomb
due
that
for a
man during the next
mythical.
gear
I ain't had a
enhancement event.
mythical
You know
in
what?
months.
Why even wait? Let's just double roll into flat defense right now. No,
Well, I got
there it
Carnage
is.
from Curse of City, but out of a primal, I had one in probably 6 months, and I've
Are you
never gotten one out of a
Are
Revenant.
you kidding me, bro? Oh, God. Well, hello, YouTube Shorts. We're back again. Can I roll anything
Oh,
that's
prisms.
not flat defense on this otherwise best banner on my account? Oh, no, of course we can't. You know what? Let's just go
I
all the
wouldn't mind
way.
having 2
Why
more
not?
Gregor,
Let's
but
just go
outside
quadruple,
of that,
bro.
I'm not too
Okay, fine, then
keen
HP, I'll
on the
take
other
it.
ones.
What an absolute...
I've already got
Dude,
3
I
Freyas.
called it. I told you. I bloody told you. Oh, red stats are just immune to being hit on upgrades. That just settles it right there. I want to sell it, but I'm not. You know what? Moment of truth, man. Can we salvage it? Can we turn it into something decent? You know what I'm saying? Let's just send it. Let's just send it, man. This one deserves an attempt. We get the accuracy. It's fine. It's got no speed. It's not really fine. Anyway, point is, I'm going to try and beat some more challenge stages. Oh, I gotta tell you the truth, man. Another thing as well, do not underestimate building resistance inside a Grim Forest. Like, it actually pays off enormously, bro. Being able to resist all of the Wixwell's debuffs and all of those provokes coming out this fight, where like when you're not able to one-shot the waves anymore, is a massive, massive deal. Like, we just resisted everything they did. They didn't land a single debuff against us for this entire round, man. So it's really, really good stuff. Well, well, well. If it isn't another red stat speed shield, bro. You know what? I ain't falling for that
Ayak
again.
and
Not today,
2 more
Brian.
Gregor
We'll save that upgrade for
is
later.
the like headlining
Oh, man,
champions.
so taking on
I'm not
Frigis,
really
dude.
sure
The
who all
strategy
is
here, right,
going
the
to be
tools
in
that
it.
you
We
need to
can look
bring,
here in a minute.
it's just what just mully him. Just mully him, dude. I love that British term, by the way. If you haven't heard like the British slang, if you're like, what does it even mean to like mully somebody? It just means get hold of them and just mully him, dude. Raggy him about, man. Snap him up.
Oh,
You
it's
know?
not
Max
listed
HP
yet.
damage, right? HP burn, enemy max HP
the video
damage.
that I had
You
playing
need a
with
ridiculous
Nutcacks
amount
earlier,
of
though,
healing,
just a
as well as
lot.
generally speaking, increased defense, strength, and buffs are also going to help out a lot with survival as well. In fact, we could actually go with the speed aura on our mythical champion Theodosia here into this fight. She can also place block buffs, decreased defense. You know, I think that she's going to be pretty good to bring along in her second form. She can bring the decreased defense, Estrid can bring the weaken, increased speed buffs for us. That's going to be pretty good. We can then bring along the heals. Ooh, we can also bring along Odin though for unkillable or block damage. That's too much support though, man. We don't want to play too pussy here. Let's go with ally attack and heals instead, coming in from the Mad Hatter, and then we're going to throw in Thorlin, and I
As
guess
far as the
Moot
epics
is the
go,
core
which is
damage
most likely
healers.
what you get, to be blunt about it,
No.
Alika is in
No,
there.
dude. It's time, of course.
There's not
for
really a
the-
lot of good
what's she called again?
barbarian
I nearly called the Lemonisi. Lamasu. Oh my god.
epics.
Authoritex Lemonisi. Then instead of the Hatter, we try the Odin. This team doesn't have enough healing. Nah. Oh. No. We've got it. Of course. We don't bring the blah blah blah. We bring the cooldown reset instead from Donatello. Donatello's absolutely unbelievable into Phrygius. Okay, so this is the team we're going to rock and roll with. Let's see how it does. Can we actually place decreased speed against Phrygius? I totally forget. No, we can. And that
Who are you
seriously
hoping for?
discounts how valuable the Estrid is in this fight. We'd actually rather have the weakened debuff and the ally attack coming in from Mad Hatter instead. So we transform the Theodosia. We then come on in with the old decreased defense debuff, get that sucker up, and all kinds of other buffs and blah blah blahs as well. We're then gonna go in for just like some cooldown increase, 10 meter boost and stuff like that. Get up the weakened, the ally attack's gonna come in. And bam, we're already piling the damage home, dude. Let's get in the big blessed bash straight away from the Newt. That's just ungodly damage right there. Though he is weak hitting into this affinity, which blows just a little bit, man. But we're just going to pile as much damage in as we can until these gold armor stacks go up. And then for every gold armor stack with clearing, the boss reflects a stupid amount of damage. So I'm going to go ahead and reset cooldowns.
I believe it's barbarians with a few others, like not a few other factions, but a few other champions. Or it might only be barbarians.
Some more ally attack then comes in.
I do know that the barbarians is like the focus
so we do
of
have
it,
to be
though.
prepared for the amount of damage that's rolled on and in. I'm just gonna send it though. I believe in just limit testing.
I would
How
assume
hard can we
all
go
the
before we get ourselves
legendaries
into serious
that are
trouble,
from
you know? That's
barbarians
just the
that
way
are
I
not
like to do it.
like limited
When I'm running
time
these teams,
would
we use
probably
more
be
fire
in
damage
it.
dealers straight away. we went too hard. And so it turns out that something like this might be a little bit better. Screw the Theodosia, let's go for the Odin instead, because Odin on his passive can bring a block damage buff for the entire team, and that can be a massive lifesaver into this fight. So maybe not necessarily going for the speed aura might actually be sort of the best thing for us. Odin, why did you open with the smack instead of your decreased defense? You suck. And okay, once again, we are now off to the races. So yeah, any kind of cooldown reset champion as well for your max HP damage dealers. Donatello, Lamassu, these are the kind of champions that work extraordinarily well into this boss, because you're just going to pile as much damage in as you can possibly get at the end of the day. Going to reflect a crap load of damage into us here, but that's okay. That's fine. We're going to be getting our unkillable buffs in just a second. And while we've got these block damage buffs up from the Odin, like, the time is now to just basically full send and trigger as many of these shield stacks as we can while we've got all of this damage immunity. And so lovely jubbly, we survive all of that really quite smoothly, to be honest. Piling in a lot of damage here. We're looking to make up
it varies.
about
Sometimes
600,000 to
normally it's
700,000
like
damage per
the
boss
factions
turn.
that are in, say,
Okay.
the
Which is
Galian
easier
pack,
said than
or
done.
they'll
Like,
have
that's
like
way easier
the
said than
faction
done,
unity
if you're looking at
champions
the max
together.
prize, from this
Normally
second
there's like a
champion.
theme to it, though.
Okay. Let's fast forward just a little bit. Ooh, hope you guys enjoy videos like this, by the way. Just a bit of a random one, to be fair. Like, random tips and stuff kind of scattered in and amongst, and yeah, I've got hair in my mouth.
But
Just,
they
like,
do
hearing about
generally
it in the
have
video.
pretty good.
But
Normally, if there's like a
not
new
so much a
champion,
tip video
it'd be
as, like, me just
headlining, and
playing a
then
little
whatever
bit of Raid,
faction
you know?
that champion's from,
So I hope
they'll
you guys enjoy
have
this more like just sort of hangout videos. I guess, you know,
going,
I
like,
suppose they're not going to be for everybody.
for the
so maybe
other
here just for
parts
the
or
guys
the
and
other
stuff like that
champions
as
to be
well.
pulled from.
Okay. Let's go ahead and just do some Mad Hatter things. We can go ahead and refresh the decreased defense here. I'm just going to skip ahead until his Hardened Avarice skill is up and ready again. Okay, it is up and ready. We don't get to place the weakened debuff, which is really sad, but I can go ahead in here and reset everybody's cooldowns.
Yeah,
now
almost
on
3 mil
the,
for that piece.
Donnie, I'm just going to send it here. We might take a bunch of reflect damage. Okay, we do take quite a substantial amount of reflect damage, but I'm just going to keep on pushing it. Just going to keep on pushing it, man. If we die, we die, right? That's the way that we play the game here. Let's get up the decreased defense. We're going to get a little bit of heals in from the... Oh, nice, dude. The block damage buff goes up at just the right time to save us from all kinds of embarrassment and humiliation there. So heals get to come in from the Donnie. Hopefully a big smack here from the Tholin. Oh, good stuff, dude. Tholin hits like an absolute joke.
He is
so
barbarian,
underrated, by the
so
way.
he
Ooh,
might
he's just
be.
like an 80 Hydra damage dealer.
I'm not
Tholin
sure.
is so much more than just an 80 Hydra damage dealer. It's not even funny. Like, he's a great champion, seriously, man. He never ceases to sort of impress me. And just do more than I'm expecting him to do consistently in like every piece of content where I bring him in. He's a great wave nuker as well, of course, and amazing Hydra champion. But his single target damage, he just hit for like 1.4 million or something total there against Frigis here. So yeah, we're well on track to do enough damage to get this done. Of course, the more and more, like the longer the fight goes on, the more the boss starts to evade. So that
I don't
becomes a bit
think
of a
it's
problem as well.
listed
So
in the
getting off to a
Supreme
strong start in
Club,
this
but
fight
I'll
is gonna
check
be
real
big for us.
quick.
To be fair, man, this entire Phrygius mini guide that we're doing right now can be summarized as just have some of the best champions in the game, man. What's the matter with you? Just have these champions and you're gonna do great. All jokes aside, like actually maxing out, getting max rewards against all the stages of Phrygius in Hardgrim Forest is no joke. You've got to have a very developed roster, of course, and there's no getting around that. It's just sadly the way the boss is, you know. It's one of those that's because you're so faction limited and stuff and what you can use and so limited in what
No,
champions
I'm
you can
not
use.
seeing anything about
Yeah,
it,
there's no
sadly.
way around it. Here we are again, up against gold form Phrygius. Let's trigger all of those stacks. Just ungodly damage coming out from the Newt. He's absolutely popping off as we've got our block damage buffs here as well. So again, just tunneling all of our damage, or like the vast bulk of our damage during this block damage cycle that we're on right now. We might lose the Newt here. It's the sacrifice the island demanded. We're very close.
It might
we're gonna lose
actually
the Newt,
be
man, but I
in the
think it's
news.
okay.
Hang on.
We're almost at 20 million damage. That's all we need, right? We
Yeah,
don't need no
it's right
Newt.
here. Now it's time to get your hands on founder of the Hidden One, Kayak, Thursday, March 19th. Oh, it's not. Yeah, it starts tomorrow until Thursday. Kayak and Doom Lord Gregor will headline. It doesn't list. Okay, here it is. It says for this event, you'll be able to summon some of the best champions from the Barbarian faction. So Yeah, I would say Odin will probably be in there. And yeah, he's probably the best champion. Him or Armand's is not as good as Odin, but he's definitely up there. Just a different use case. But yeah, that'd definitely be who I would want if I was going if I didn't already have Odin.
Hey guys, Ash Yall Legends. Welcome to the video. Send us some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them out there today. A little weekend live arena action for you guys. May as well just hang out together, talk a little bit about, you know, draft strategy, arena meta, all the good stuff right now. I've really done a pretty major thing on my account, and I've kind of reworked.
Gregor's really good, but you need other barbarians to pair him with.
And it got my juices.
That's
flowing
who
to
I
really
would
go
want
through
for my
and
account
rethink
specifically.
basically everything.
But if I didn't have a bunch of other high-end barbarians to put with them, I would want Odin or Armand's.
I'm not sure if I want to save it. I might save it for a video on my main channel.
Or Bayak, he's really good.
Not that you guys really care, but what I struggle with on YouTube is I try to.
Maria's really good too. I've got 3 of her.
In terms of the type of content, some of it's beginner content, like super beginner content.
And she has a really good passive. She's real tanky. She can help keep your team alive for multiple ways. She's got that cleanse, a really big shield, one of the biggest shields in the game.
And putting the extremes here on this
so yeah, she's definitely like. There's a few really good legendaries. Like most of the legendaries actually are pretty good in the barbarians. It's just that the epics are pretty trash.
I've done is I've rebuilt my Marius in a big way, like totally changed everything about him, and I'm absolutely loving it, but I'm not sure if I just want to put a who do you guys think they're gonna ban here?
Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones.
I'm gonna get
pull up the index on barbarians real quick.
I hate that dude. We're gonna go.
I know the mythicals won't be in there.
And see if we can resist.
But yeah, you've got Pardon's pretty good now after the buff. You got Armand's Store. Contra's really good. Raphael's in there. He's pretty good. Rhea, Gregor. Cena's pretty good if she's in there.
Right. One thing you can get if you're not like
Turvold's a really good single target nuker. Yakarl's a really good champion. Kind of slept on in my opinion. Tuatarok, really good support. Odin, just all around great support, damage dealer, control, everything. Bayak has one of the craziest passives in the game. But then when it comes to the epics,
you can't use the other champions.
There's Alika, Haikatoon.
So anyway, I'll make a video.
Gato Shaman's pretty cool. There's Fat Man, Farrakhan the Fat. Farrakhan the Fat's one of the best epics in the game, so I mean, there's that. And Hoshgirl, I hear people, they like Hoshgirl, but I'm not a fan personally.
So, you always just want to take out the biggest threat with
so the epics are definitely kind of meh, but the legendaries, for the most part, are really good.
You know, you'd hope if he was a nice fella, he would just give up, but he's going to make me battle this one out, but not the end of the world. I'm just going to play things safe here. I should have just switched forms and tried to control there, but because I have Nice on the team, but it is what it is. Nice is good. Have you heard the news that Nice is a really good champion? He's really good. I didn't used to use Marius that much. I know it sounds crazy.
At this point, though,
so many mythicals,
for your account, Armand probably would do better, but like for arena, but Thor would do you better in like progression.
And it was a really dumb, really, you know. Part of the reason is I do have him awakened, but I don't have him empowered and stuff like that. So I just you know, I thought to myself, well, I have a +3 Geralt, I have a +4 whoever the heck, you know. And I started to kind of convince myself that I should just go with the most powerful champions on my account more often. And it was a big it was a big mistake. Frankly, it was stupid. I should have just I should always use Marius. I'm actually just going to try to end her in second form right now.
Well, you don't really have a choice to save him. If you don't pull them after they're already accredited to your
So I'm on
account,
a pretty good win streak.
it'll just auto pull them whenever the event ends,
Just
whether
trying to-
you're
just
online or
basically trying
not.
to not practice per se. It sounds kind of weird, but I guess
Not really a
the
fan
more
of
reps
how
you
they
get
do
in the arena,
that,
no matter how
but
experienced
that
or
is how
better
it
you are, the
works
better
with
you're
the
gonna be,
prisms.
right? You'll come across champions and strategies that you haven't thought of before.
I don't know
Start
why they won't
maybe
let you
having
save them.
ideas, sparks of ideas on how you can optimize your own champion builds, right? So, you know, I really enjoy Live Arena, and I take the time between the seasons to experiment a little bit more. As a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and start playing Bayak on basically all of these battles. I would go with some sort of a speed lead against an Arbiter team here. But I'll tell you what, I have such a healthy, I don't play him on my account, but I have such a healthy respect for Narcissus, man. Take him out of the battle. Take him out of the battle. I'm going to go first here with Crixia, even with the ban on Lazarius.
Prism points are the shards
Between
themselves.
Crixia and Marius, they're going to be stripped of
And that must
almost
have been
all
because
buffs.
you didn't claim them, like actually
Bayak
open
can
up the
go in.
Prism
Bayak
app.
built as a
Once
nuker.
you open
Again,
up
I'm
the
gonna be
Prism
drafting a
app
lot
and
of
look at the
Bayak.
champions,
Congratulations if you got 'em on
you're
this
pretty much
event. I did not
forced
pull
into
for this
pulling
event.
them
I
at the
did
end
pull
of the
for
event.
Hackathon yesterday. Well, I'll let you watch the video. I just uploaded it, right?
Like, if you got them
But
from an
he's,
event, but you
both
never
those champions are
actually
incredible.
opened up the
And
tab that
shame
had
on
the
me, I got
champion list on it,
not used to
it
knowing
is
them,
kind
so,
of a
but we're okay.
loophole where it
But
doesn't
I like
force it
building
upon you,
Bayak
but if not, it will.
As a nuker. You know, he hits very, very hard. I see some people building him like very high accuracy. I've seen some folks building him a 9-piece protection set because of his great buffs here.
There, like I
but
said,
let
there
me
is a
tell ya,
way that
this
you
guy-
can not
and
use them
none of those are
and carry
wrong
them
per
over
se, but
by
he deals
like
some
not
insane
opening the
damage.
event
Now, I
whatsoever.
don't have him fully awakened.
But
my
if you-
Bayak. I don't have.
I would
him,
recommend you watching a
empowered,
video of
you know?
somebody tomorrow
So I think I
that's
have him
looking at
5-star
the event.
awakened, and which is obviously good. But he's an incredible champion.
And
He's an
if
incredible
you
damage
want
dealer
to
for your
pull,
team.
then go ahead and open it up.
Kind
But
of
if
a-
you don't
maybe
want
not
to pull your
tanky, being a
prism shards,
defense-based
then
Jedi
don't
thug,
open it up. Like,
being a
watch someone else's
defense-based,
video first
champion.
and
But,
see
man,
what
he's
all's going to
insane.
be
He's
in there
really, really
before
good.
you actually
First
open the
pick, I
tab
always
itself up.
go Marius.
Because
I'm
I
learning
am
my
like
lesson, getting away
100%
from him.
confident that
You know why?
once you
If
open
you're
that
ever going
tab up
against,
during an
Marius,
event,
Predator,
it'll auto
those
pull
are
the
two most
shards at the end of the
popular first
event.
picks right now, you know. Embreeze, I guess he's in the conversation. Fabian, a lot of players still go Fabian. I don't love going Fabian first.
And if you don't
If you
have
have
enough
Crixia.
to
If you
pull
don't
a
have
shard, like
Crixia,
say
then
you only
nothing
had
wrong with
25
going,
prisms,
Fabian first, but
that
I'm
will
not a
carry
responder
over no
Fabian
matter
or
what.
ban
But if there's
Fabian,
enough for a shard, it auto
then
pulls
go
it.
first personally. But everybody's is not a bad strategy. It's nothing wrong with it. So I'm just going to go speed here. If they go Arbiter, another Arbiter. I haven't gone against Arbiter in a while. So they go Crixia. We're going to go Bayak again. You just got to figure Embreeze is probably low accuracy, and I'm going to go with some heavy hitting nice. Another thing you'll notice that I'm doing here that I never used to do at all is I've gotten away from holding myself so religiously to speed auras in every single draft. It's not that I don't prefer it. I do. But I do not think that it is... I'm just going to get rid of Crixia here. I don't think it's absolutely imperative if you, depending on what the gear that you have, you know, and you know your own gear, of course, but whether it's...
Yeah, I heard you. I read your message. You just, like I said, you must not have actually went into the event tab the last time.
Supersonic, you know, if you have the stars...
I mean, you can look it up.
whatever the heck,
It says it auto pulls them.
good temporal chains champions. I think there's ways to play around. I'm just going to boost in case Fabian has... I admit I did not see what he has on right now, so I just didn't want to buff. We're going to go in here, and we're just going to pop off. I mean, I have an easy target. I'm always looking for a block revive. My whole strategy around this is it could be Predator, doesn't have to be nice. Could be freaking Oyasu, right? But I want to have a block revive champion because it's such a revive heavy meta right now, right? I want to have a block revive champion on my team. And I want to have you can probably pop Fabian off right there. Very hard-hitting A1 on Bayak too, by the way. I want to have a block revive champion. I want to be drafting a lot of buff removers, right? And those buff removers can have...
But even if you don't get anything from that account, with you
And then
getting
I wanna clear
Maria
the way for the block revival.
and you
That's
have
how you get-
Eric's,
that's
like
my
you could
main
definitely get
strategy
into
right now
like
for winning
the
in this
early
meta.
stage, the early tier of
in
Gold
buffer
4
movers like Marius and
with the right
Fabian
gear,
and,
of
and
course.
stuff like that. Crixia, you know, they have a lot of extra utility.
Like
than just
those are
buffer removal.
such
Odin
good
is another really
champions.
good one there, right? All right, so we can just we're just gonna keep working on getting the chipping away at what's his face. Hate to have the block revive though, so I'm actually gonna do an early metamorph, and I'm just gonna set him up with Feather Shield right now because I can't. I'm just always healthy appreciation for Embreeze, right? We want to trigger that block revive so Siegfried doesn't go into his reviver form.
I'm not sure
that's why
then,
we're
man.
working on him before Embreeze the anomaly there. All right, so
It's
This is a
auto
little
pulled
bit of,
mine and other people
a
in the
little bit of
Discord
kills
clan
there,
that
a
I'm
little
in
bit of
involved.
damage
We've
there
all
on
talked
Embreeze,
about
but
it.
he's weak hit anyway, not a big deal. I'm gonna go because Laz is dead. And the turn meter is full on Embreeze. I'm going to save that
Unless
revive.
maybe I'm
I don't
thinking
need to
about
revive
the
him right now
Soul
because
Stone
he can block
prisms.
revive
Maybe
him
I'm
right
getting them
away with the
backwards.
A1.
I'm not sure.
Instead, we can just
But
kinda
I
lean
know
on,
one of them prism events, whether
lean
it's
on the
the
big fella.
champion or the Soul
And
Stone,
again,
it won't let
unfortunately,
you
I'm gonna
hold
stay
them
away
over.
from Embreeze just until
But I might
we
be
get
getting
rid
them
of,
backwards on which one is
get
which,
rid
though.
of Siegfried. So now we can. I'm actually just going to go second form. Second form, we'll remove it this way, the hard way. We're susceptible to a potential block revive here on our guy, but we get resisted, weak hits. I think we can just slam them both down here, get the revive, go in with the A2, get the block damage. But we can actually just win off the A1 here of nice. All right, cool. All right, let's keep it going here, guys. Sorry, I feel like my commentary is extra bad today.
This created monsters are
You
not
guys are
full to get, though.
enjoying yourself. I've got my
He's one of my
Celtics
favorite
playing in
epics,
about
just period.
half an
His
hour,
stuns,
so
the big
trying to
shield, the
chill
ally
with you guys
protection,
through
he
that.
self-sustains
I am
with the
from the Boston
self-heal.
area,
He's a
and,
very good
diehard
champion,
Celtics fan.
and
Ever
he
since
can
I was a little
solo
boy,
a lot of areas of the
we
game.
didn't- I grew up. We couldn't really afford to go to a lot of Celtics games, right? But I went to one or two games.
I
one
pulled him on
really
my main
memorable
account
against
before I
the,
really
Charlotte
started
Hornets, and
spending
I got
money a few
Larry
years ago.
Johnson and Lonzo
And
Ball's autographs. I
he
went down to the
definitely
court,
was a game
just
changer.
back in the day when you could just do that. And ever since then, I don't know how old I was, but I was diehard before that. But that was just like, this is such a cool experience. So now I try to catch every game, unless I'm busy with my son or something like that. All right, so we're going to go Crixia. We are going to go, this is like a no-brainer strategy. Draft nice if you have nice. Draft nice if you have nice. Even against meta. Another Arbiter. What is going on here? I got to be real with you guys. Before I hit record, before I hit record, I was going against some beasts, but now these matchups have been quite easy comparatively, right? I'm going to go with Resist Aura, and that benefits, obviously, Crixia and Star Sage Galathier, and we hope that we can resist Fabian on their team, especially with the weak, oftentimes we can get around Fabian. It's going to be a moot point because Crixia goes, but oftentimes with Fabian, we can get the weak hit anyway, but we just want to, again, preserve that A3. Now, in this situation, we already have 2 A3 targets to block revive, so we're just going to boost, and then we're actually going to go right in with Marius, and Marius might be able to clean the slate a little bit.
That's awesome.
So she's locked out.
I used to use
block damage
Gizmac and
there,
a bunch of
block damage
other
there,
like
block damage
champions to
there.
make a
We'll have
team
the
for
clean
Spider.
shot
But
at
then I
Arbiter,
found out
block revive.
Wallmaster Etharion can solo it in
Not
like
that there's anybody
15
left to
seconds.
revive her, to be
And so
fair.
I've been using just him by
And we can
himself
just
here
pick them
lately.
off. Will be a pretty quick one.
I can't believe it took,
I like
like, I've
Cheshire
had him
Cat,
for
though.
a
He's a
year
pretty
now. I
fun
can't believe it
champion.
took me
I don't
that
have any
long to
awakening
realize that
for
he could
him,
solo Spider hard.
So I don't use him. But if I did have really good, there is a certain amount of looking at your roster, looking at who you have good awakenings for, because that's so important, right? who you have good banners for if speed is an issue too, and kind of playing a little bit towards that. Now there's exceptions like Marius's and Fabian's and the Predators, champions that define the meta, right? Star Sages, and I could go on and on. So it doesn't apply to every champion, but I do think that there's a certain, this looks like a good Davor. I've played against this this person a few times before. So we're going to go speed and lockout to counter the lockout. And these sort of matches, I see that top players. I was watching.
Which champion are you using the most on your account?
Most players just trade bans.
Probably nude for dungeons,
we'll
right?
See what they do. We'll see what they do. And it's always nice to have a couple like.
I see that you haven't really done much with your Erics, though. I highly recommend you build her up to 60.
We all think, okay, who am I going to ban here? Who am I going to ban? You know, and then it's nice to hit him with that last pick of like, oh God, what am I going to do? You know,
she's very similar to what you would call like a legendary miscreated monster.
That is my plan B option.
Because she's got the AoE stun, she heals, she ally protects your team. But she has a super hard hitting AoE A1 as well.
Can't be locked out. Block active skill. She can't be block active skilled. And then obviously they have Cometus, and we have Makuro on these two champions. So, and then we can lock out Cometus maybe on his base form. But I'm going to get rid of Nice, man. That's a no-brainer for me. That's totally cool. So they've got a lot of accuracy on their team. So yet again, I'm just going to go, actually, do I want to buff up the horse and just try to go for some defense? I don't need the resist. I don't need the resist.
It never ceases to amaze me at how hard the steel hits.
Monster energy drink habit. I've tried to quit so many times, like I feel pathetic saying this. I've tried to quit, guys, and it's tough. All right, so they are going to go first, but
out of the three champions that you pulled tonight, I would say Maria. But out of everybody that I saw on your account, I would probably lean toward Eric's.
But we take out Fabian either way. Pretty strong start here.
Not probably, I would.
First. But they went with the block active skills. It was a smart move because then it allows Fabian hopefully to go next if they're
like, dude,
right?
the steel is just single-handedly taking out parties, almost double my team power.
Out and I can't switch forms and reset with Crixia's alternate form. So in this situation, they're gonna go in here. I'm enfeebled, but they can still weaken. They can.
If she gets outsped, there's not a lot she can do. But as long as we can make her go first,
Marius,
she can solo anything I've came across. Doesn't matter the affinity, if they're mythical or not.
My fast champions, Lazarius.
Now, this being an Arbiter team, they might be faster than mine.
Totally cool.
Yeah, they are.
Here. Get some of that
I won't be able to use her on this team. We'll probably lose this fight.
We can just gallop our way to Thunder. All right, we can. When you use Raglan, if you have Raglan, congratulations. She's very, very good in the meta. When you use her, you really got to use that. I don't know.
Looks like we got it. Wow.
That A1 is nasty. Do you see how much HP he had left? That A1 of
it is crazy that we're taking on teams to double our player power.
It's just busted. All that
like with ease.
It, you know, it's really incredible. We're still in a really, really good position. Like I feel like it's.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Odin would take priority over pretty much anyone in the game.
It has nothing
outside of some mythicals.
Off cooldown, excuse me, right now.
Odin's probably Odin's a top 10 champion in the game.
Now, I was able to switch.
Even including mythicals, he's a top 20.
I shouldn't have done it, but it doesn't really matter here because look at
that free Prism event they did last week is where I got the still from. I only had one, and that's who I got out of it. So you can definitely, you know, get a legendary out of it if you're lucky.
He'll get the revive on death, but it's okay. We'll go with a mercy. Because here's the thing. You can just keep killing Marius and Crixia again and again and again. You can lock them out. We're just prolonging kind of the inevitable here, right? By the way, Polymorph, in case you missed the news, is really good again. It's good again. People got away from wands. It's still one of the most popular relics, but it's not as synonymous because especially as the higher you get, people actually got their hands on more mythic relics as well, right? Moreover, the meta's changed with mercurial gear and everything like that. Oh my God, you ever do that? You ever like click and it just goes on the next one when you're tapping the A1? Oh man. Anyway, back to my whole point here. They're so tough, this tandem, right? And it really works with Raglan in any kind of reviver type mechanic.
Dude, Siegfried is a beast of a champion.
Skills and you can just keep chaining. Again, A1 of Raglan, you get that beautiful.
He's probably in the top 3 arena champions in the game if you have the right gear to build him.
Really strong.
And a blessing to get lightning cage on him so the block damage can't be stolen.
A team kill. All right, just do it. Just end him, Siegfried. God, that was so much longer than it needed to be.
I run him on almost every team I run in the arena.
Yeah. So Raglan, and if I go against a Cometus, if I go against a...
I don't have like a crazy build on him, but I've got a decent build with 7.2k attack and 324 on the crit damage.
Those champions,
but I wish I could get his speed closer to about 300.
Using at the end of the video too. Then I go Mercurial. I shift to Mercurial. Now I don't have 9-piece Mercurial. I have good Mercurial gear. Like my Raglan gear is really, really good. My Siegfried gear is really good. Problem is, I don't have any Mercurial accessories for Dwarf. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I can't run Hilvi. And
his support form is very overlooked.
And there she is.
It's one of the best support. I wish that you could go into his support form without everybody else dying, because his support form is amazing.
Barbarians.
The 2-turn block damage AoE, the cleanse that does like half of everyone's health or something like that.
Are the 2 most
the A1 that's a decently hard-hitting AoE that heals everybody. It's just a great kit.
That's not to say there's not a ton of others. There certainly is. But like whenever I see those 3 champions,
how many promo shards you got saved up, or are you saving them up?
No, they're going to be 9-piece Mercurial. No, in Raglan too. Excuse me. So those 3, it's always going to be. All right. So Harima, very interesting. Let's go Geralt. Why not, right? They have an increased accuracy champion on the team. I'm actually, honestly, as much as I want to go Geralt, I got to be smart and go lockout here. I got to be smart. So I'm only drafting 1 speed lead here. I used to draft Marichka in this position, but now I'm always going lockout no matter what.
No, he doesn't.
I put them in an awkward position.
If he goes in solo, he just stays in that first form no matter what.
I want to ban his speed lead, intimidating presence, and then I could maybe go first. But my whole team is set up around not letting him potentially go first. So he bans my Star Sage.
And Leo.
My whole team is set up around, cutting in line with Crixia or sustaining with a champion like Nice, right? So
prior to the Geralt buff, though, Siegfried was my favorite damage dealer in the game. After the Geralt buff, Geralt's my favorite.
Or do they want to take away my my speed lead? Sorry.
Her having the protected unkillable for 3 turns versus Siegfried's 2-turn block damage that can be stolen,
but
that makes it a little bit better. And her A2 hits as hard as Siegfried's A3, but hers is an AoE, and Siegfried is only an AoE if it kills the person you attack.
Right? So that's the reason I'm not playing Predator. I'm surprised I haven't gone against him yet. I feel like it's every battle I've been going against him. I get polymorph there. It's okay. That's why I have 2.
Like Siegfried can pick one person and one-shot him pretty much no matter what. Geralt can one-shot the entire team pretty much no matter what.
Nasty Fabian for the rest of the battle. So yes, that's why I'm not playing Predator. However, I am running some Embries and some, obviously, quite a bit of Marius, too. All right, so they have Harima there on the team. They actually have like a kind
well,
of
if you have 20 on a 2x, that would be a 20% chance, so a 1 out of 5%, like, for the whole pool. You know, like, you would have a 20% chance of pulling one if you had 20 on a 2x. It's a 0.5% per pull.
Excuse me, Fabian, Lazarius. So let's go ahead and just go there, chip away, just in case at the total guard, even though there is block damage.
This 6-star Cometus scaring me a bit there.
With the passive of Lazarius, not
Fabian. Maybe we can block the debuffs.
Right, finally, Crixie is back in the fight.
So we can block his bombs. Okay, we're good. We're good.
For our bias in the A3 with the Stone Skin. So they only have one threat, and she does not have a she does not have any protection. However, she's Harima. She's a tank and a half. So what's going to happen here is Harima's going to go. She's going to A3, I suppose, or A2, fine. And then I'm going to be into revive mode with Nice. So we're in a little tiny,
they're way
bit of
slower.
danger here. But honestly,
They used to
I'm
only
not
happen like once a
too
year or twice a year, but they've happened
concerned,
like
believe it or
3 or
not,
4 times in the last
because I have
6
a
months. So
Sheba's
it seems like they're
on
happening like
Nice.
once a quarter now,
Meaning
like every couple of
can't
months
critical hit me.
instead of once or twice
So,
a year.
I'm still okay.
So that's a
But
bonus.
that is low HP even for a Sheba's. Let's go ahead and get that turn meter fill with the A2. Chrissy is such a good turn meter filler too, with that A2, because even if you're locked out by somebody like Nice, you still have that great option to, let's go in there on Hilvey, decrease the turn meter of their Reviver, of course. You still have the option to just go on the A2 in the second form, even if you have nothing to reset. Get the block debuffs, get the nice turn meter fill, and just a lot of utility just beyond the lockout and the reset, right? Okay, we're going to stay in base form here, and they're going to end up getting a, they're going to end up getting a revive. No, man, no. Take it back. Forgot we were already back to the second form there. All right, so come on, buddy.
I wouldn't
Alright.
say any of them
Now I
are
feel like I
bad.
can go in here.
Frony
and-
is. You might say Frony's bad, but even
Let's
with
just play
him,
with the
his
turn.
second
Steal that
form
turn
is so
meter.
good at keeping your team
And-
alive that it's
Gosh,
hard to
man.
call him bad.
Let's,
He's just bad compared to
let's just chip
mythicals.
away. Get that opening for Lazarius.
For any account that
A2,
isn't like
reduce
just
turn
stacked
meter.
full of void legendaries and
Block
stuff,
buffs,
any
obviously
mythical
really
is
strong
going to be
on-
great. But as long
what's
as
her
you
face,
farm
Elias.
Chimera, you'll
Finally
get
get that
Embers
kill
in
and-
like 5 months, something like that.
I'm not gonna
How
lie.
long it
That's-
takes.
He got, he got pretty close when my Nice was low there. Let's claim our chest.
And
What do we
he's one of the
have?
top mythicals, at
Zeal
least for
HP.
Arena.
Crit damage is really nice at the 7%. Let's just see where the rolls go, because it could be speed or crit rate or speed. Nope, didn't get lucky there.
But
Man,
no,
it's just
I
so
wouldn't
hard
say
to
any
get a
mythical is
really
actually
good,
a bad champion. Even the worst
to get really
mythicals
good,
are
frankly,
like a
boots
mid-tier
and,
or better than most
chest pieces
legendaries.
And
Like even Frony,
Impulse,
his
like, I'm a
second
big
form, if
fan,
you just
and
look at him
Cotton's-
as
I'm just a
support,
big fan of
still
Impulse
better
in
than
general,
most
obviously.
legend support
so what I'll do
legendaries.
is, as you saw, I'll roll up even a flat stat piece. And if I
And
get
the
a
reason
triple,
I'd say
I'll use
Frony
some
is
Chaos
because
Aura on it,
he's,
especially
in my
Epic, like, why
opinion,
not,
the
right?
worst
I'm sitting on a few
mythical.
of them, so I won't do double rolls, but this is how honestly I use the same strategy.
You could
per se,
definitely get normal
on
Chimera done.
all Mercurial gear.
Oh, hey, let
I
me
am
pull your
using-
team back up.
Like even this, if it was Mercurial, I wouldn't do this for this 5-star on Zeal. But if it was Mercurial, I would go in there and just hunt
Predator,
triple rolls.
Hakatoon,
And honestly, I would
Ninja,
still
Newt.
rework this if it was Mercurial.
Yeah, you
That's
have a
how- that's how
Chimera
I've been able
team,
to
dude.
get, decent gear, right?
Still the Drakes,
Is I go
Ninja,
in there
Newt.
and I just see where the rolls fall, and I'll use the dust accordingly.
Let's see,
So
how many
nothing
is
much
that?
there, but let's keep
1,
going here,
2,
guys.
3, 4. For number
Nutter.
5, you can do
All
Maki
right.
for the debuffs that
All
he
right,
brings.
Nutter, what do you got for us? Is he a big fan of Newt?
But yeah,
Or is that a
you
different-
definitely have a Chimera
Is it
team.
neuter? Is it
You could
neuter? Are
definitely
you gonna
do
neuter
normal
me?
and
I don't know what's going on.
hard, or easy and normal. The
All right.
first 2
He leads
difficulties,
the
no
battle after
problem.
Marius draft.
And those
I don't
are
know.
just the champions that you
I
already
don't
have
know.
built up.
It's weird. If I like
Hakatoon
off
lead,
with a
Ninja
+4
for burn,
Signet or
decrease
something, I can
defense,
understand to lead the battle.
Newt
But
for
a Marius?
enemy max HP
I mean, either that
damage,
or we should
Still the
raise, like,
Drakes for
Big
heals,
fan Ash. Here's the win.
and
I
then
don't know. All
Maki
right,
for
he
the
goes Marius.
leech,
Took my first
and
pick. I
just
hate it.
basically that leech to help
Honestly,
keep you
if they go
alive, but
Marius, I
still.
go tanky. Get ready for a Marius.
No, you definitely
know?
have a Chimera team.
One thing too on my Marius is you'll notice I have Crushing Rend on him. I'm ruining my strategy here. Fine, there's a Predator pick. I'm ruining my strat. But
Well, that's enough for the
I,
first 2 stages
go-
of chess.
I'm gonna go Lord Fabian. Finally, we have a Fabian sighting, and
I
No,
would
I'm not gonna
swap
go
out
Fabian. I'm not gonna go
Xenomorph for
Fabian.
Ninja.
I'm
My
gonna go
Ninja
with-
out damages
there we
Newt.
go. I say all that because I.
But
am
I'll
not
run
going to
Ninja in
ban-
my Nightmare
I
Chimera.
don't know who I'm gonna ban yet. I was thinking I might go
Ninja is
Fabian and
amazing.
trade
Like he
bans,
is
Fabian
a
Crixia,
top tier
but
Chimera
I
damage
don't know,
dealer.
3-star Temporal Chains. I don't think she's that fast. I think I'll win the speed race even without going Laz. He does go Carnage and our bias. Maybe I'll go. He has a lot of accuracy, so I can't go Bayak again. I mean, I could, but it's just not the right play. And I think I will go Laz and get rid of Get rid of Predator.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, you
so
definitely
we're
need
gonna
his
go
passive.
with- in
But
this
hell,
situation,
just
we're gonna
match.
go with
When does the
the
Magic
HP, it
Dungeon open
benefits
back up?
Geralt
Just whenever
and
the Magic
Nice.
Dungeon opens
We have
back up,
two
just
beast
farm you
mode
like
makers.
15 of the big
green,
magic
one
potions
blue.
and take them to
They have Marius.
5-star
They've got our bias.
or whatever,
They've
or
got
6-star or
Carnage.
whatever. But
Carnage can do a good job.
yeah, it's not that hard to do,
neutralizing
man.
lot of my
A couple
team.
of hundred energy and you'll have it.
And they go first. They're gonna lock me out with Crixia.
You could take 15 to
I'm gonna
20
stay
minutes
base
and a couple
form
of
with
hundred
Star
energy and
Sage,
have
even
him
though it's
6-star
tempting to switch.
on the Ascension
we're just gonna
anyways.
go ahead and boost. All right, we're vulnerable, super vulnerable, but we have Nice. We'll have Star Sage alive still. We'll have everybody alive still. We're fine. Now, this is the moment where we're at our most vulnerable. All right. So let's pop off. You notice what they don't have, a Reviver. We can pop off their biggest threat right there. That's going to allow us to switch forms.
Well,
with
3-star is
Sage
enough for his
and
passive, isn't
control
it?
the match. So
Or do
all
you
we
have
need
to have
worry about
5?
here is that guy.
I'm pretty
right
certain
there.
3-star. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure 3-star Ascension is all you need for a
Carnage
ninja's
can
passive.
Still end this. Now you'll notice
On that
What
picture you
active
sent me, you
skills
don't have it any ascended
he'll
though.
still transform, right? Geralt's A1 now removes all buffs from target, okay? So we have a buff removal on our bias, which takes away, a lot of the viability of that A3. So here comes Carnage. Here's the big moment of truth. He could swap forms and kill everybody except for Nice. He could try to...
Well, his passive pretty much doubles his
Okay.
damage, so
well, we'll just cleanse that away.
in longer
I'm
fights
locked,
like Chimera,
I can't...
the passive isn't
switch
really
forms
going to do
with-
much
with
in the
Star Sage.
arena, but Chimera it pretty much.
The really cool thing
I don't know
is
if it
running
doubles or
a Star Sage
50%
together
increases
with
it,
Raglan or
but
any
it gives him a
Reviver that
lot
has
more
lot of
damage.
versatility together with Raglan is it allows you to go way more aggressive with what you're going to do. Let's get that swift parry if there is one, and there's not, so they can leave the battle. But when you run Star Sage and Raglan together, right, it gives you the ability to switch forms on Star Sage. Not always the right move in every situation, but hey, gamer dads, yo, what up? Maybe I should change my clan. The Fern. All right, I like his avatar, his profile setup here. Mine feels like kind of, I don't know, like so 2024, doesn't it? That looks kind of BA. All right. Who you gonna go?
You
Got my
like
finger on Maris.
your
So I was saying
account
this
can't do
earlier,
brutal,
but-
or the
and
clan you're in
my
can't do it.
secret's gonna be out. But Marius, the way I have him built, is he like trolling me? Is he a gamer dad? He's probably busy with his kids. Probably busy with his kids. I know that's happened to me before. Yeah, he's definitely busy with his kids. So he goes with his strongest champion, a +4 fully awakened cock. We're gonna go with Marius, and we're gonna go with we'll go Star Sage. Let's see if he's back. I mean, you can't complain about that first pick, even if he was AFK, right? Okay, finally I'll finish my point. Marius.
Well, what
crushing
you could
land.
do is
I don't have my
save
Marius
up
in
a
any
few
sort of a
keys.
nuker build,
Like,
you know.
I don't know.
But I want them.
I don't
to
know if
think
you can
that
spend money,
he's
but
not
buy
in
them
he's in a nuker build, right? He's
daily
slow, typical
packets.
stone skin
Normally
lethal
just a few
Marius.
dollars.
You'll
I'll
notice
show
he
you
is
which one
not.
I'm talking about.
He's in a feral set.
The
He's
mini
built
mix
fast with
pack,
accuracy.
it comes with the extra Demon Lord
granted, you can
key.
still do
Buy you a
damage
few of
because he's
those,
Marius.
and then just
But I guess Fern
do
is
the
AFK.
same
I hope they come
difficulty.
back,
Do brutal like 4 or
mainly
5 times,
because-
and it
not 'cause I
should
want a
kill the
fair
boss.
fight, but
And then you'll
because I
have
wanna wait
brutal
30
unlocked or
seconds in
whatever
between
difficulty
everything.
you're trying to unlock. I mean,
or
you
whatever
would
it
be
is,
you
45
would be
seconds,
spending
whatever.
your own money to unlock it for the
Come on.
clan, but you
I don't
would
wanna
be
end this
unlocking
video
it for
either.
yourself at the same
Trim this
time.
out.
Or you could just go into
Alright,
the clan
who are the
list
next two
and
powerful
find you a
champions?
better
Something
clan to
counted.
join.
They got a +4 Galeus.
Oh, nice.
Galeus.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could either hop
Alright,
into a
who's the
different
second
clan,
two
or you could
strongest
do that.
champions? The Firm. I called him the Fern. Oops. Like the John Grisham novel with an E? All right, they got Nell and Gizmac. Interesting. All right, so we're going to go Marichka, and we're going to go Raglan, and we're going to hand it back. +3 Gizmac there, too.
I gotta grab my cigarettes.
Alright.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right
Confirm.
back.
Hey, I guess it's a good time in case you guys are watching this in real time. I guess I'll just share with you guys the news of the day. You guys ready here? Here we go. We've got the news of the day. I'll keep an eye on things in the background here. All right. Nothing going on. Okay. We have on Monday, March 16th, we're going to do Awakening Boost, giving you a 2x to summon perfect souls from Eternal Soul Stones. All right. Please note this soul's rank, regardless of its rarity. And then that will be for 92 hours. Nothing here over. Okay. Monday, also Monday, we're going to launch, the Verdant Deck of Fate event. We have a chance to get celestial crystals and other valuable goodies. You can get them from summoning souls from soul stones and getting artifacts and accessories. All right. Who are they going to go with here? Who's the computer going to go with? I hope he kind of disconnects to keep the video moving selfishly. Gamer dads, man. It happens sometimes. I hear you. I'm sure I've done the same thing. Okay. I hate the delay. Like, come on, man. Oh, he DC'd. All right. Sorry about that. What else do we have here? During this event, you'll be able to collect rare, legendary, and mythical crystals, celestial crystals to craft relics in the forge. And we're
Also, with Demon Lord, though, Ninja will up your
25
damage
craft material
dramatically.
For green.
Until you get to
rares,
Ultra
epics,
Nightmare, he'll outdamage Snood.
Mythicals. We'll have 50 mythicals. Sorry, that's all I'm really looking for here.
The reason being is
50
because
mythicals
Newt's
available,
damage
150
scales the
legendaries.
higher
It'll
the
sit
enemy
first pick.
level is,
What is
and
this
Ninja,
madness?
it's kind of the opposite.
Well, I don't care. I'm just
Enemy
gonna play
max
my game.
HP
I don't care.
generally
City
outperforms
first pick. That's crazy.
at higher levels
Fabrashoff.
or enemy levels than like
It's not
raw
crazy,
damage
you gotta
does
see.
until you get into
So
like
6-star
ignore
Siffy
defense
in
and stuff like
Lightning
that.
Cage, Awaken, that is. Got to figure, obviously, she's going to be in a 9-piece protection set, so we'll have to factor that into whatever we do. And they go, Rotos? Oh, my God. Well, golly. I'm going freaking Pred. I don't care. I'm going Pred. We're going to go Pred, and we're going to go with, that. And then we'll go Raglan last pick. They're going Sun Wukong. They're hitting me with a 2019 meta. Not really, but I love Rotos. But Rotos is really tough to play right now with Total Guard, with Mikiro. Very tough. Beyond tough, you know? We're just going Raglan. We're going to go super tanky. And we'll just get rid of Embreeze. I
hope you find you a good one.
They get rid of my Raglan.
I'm not the
we'll go with
leader in
Xerius,
any of the
and
clans
we
that I'm
will
part
win
of,
this
so
one.
I can't really like guarantee
yeah,
that
like
you
I
would
said,
be
it's
accepted
tough.
or whatever.
I love Rotos, but Sanguine Maria is so much better than him. Sorry, I'm messing with my chroma key here. Sanguine Maria is so much better in this meta. But Rotos is one of my favorite nukers in the entire game, you know? All right. Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to A1. See if he's going to revive Rotos, you assume. And Pred's going to do Pred things. So here goes their Rotos. You can kill Marius, but
Your local 911 dispatch gets a call from a nice young lady that lives out of town who says she hasn't heard from her grandma in a couple weeks and would love if some type of public servant stopped by her house to say hello. The call's put out to the local boys in blue, so they make their way over to Nana's house and knock on the door. Something smells kind of funny though, and no one is coming to the door. Cops call granddaughter back. She gives them permission to force
Do you
entry
have a
into the
bunch of
house.
chickens and
As soon
stuff
as
to
Nana's doors
if you
open, a
do
very
get a
distinct
legendary
smell hits
tomorrow,
our
like if you
officers,
do pull
like they
Odin
ran
or
into a
something?
brick wall.
But if you
A
don't,
really
to level up
stinky
a
brick
champion
wall.
to a
Turns out
60,
poor 93-year-old Betty had a
where it's
cardiac
champion
emergency a couple
training
weeks
right
ago
now,
and just
it
killed
would
over in
definitely
the
be
living
like
room.
the
power
right
to the
time to
house
do
has been
so.
shut off for lack of payment. It's the middle of the summer, 102 degrees outside, and Grandma Betty's 6 loving cats had eaten her eyeballs and other soft parts of her body, as they do when other food sources are not available. She had melted into the carpet and has officially become people soup.
Okay, cool.
Welcome to the first episode of Crime is Fun. The way Crime is Fun is going to work is each
Oh,
episode
hell
is
yeah.
going to have a theme with little digestible cases and stories relating to things that have something to do with crime. There's really nothing linear about the storytelling in any given episode, just some fun little tidbits you can listen to while you're driving.
So I take it,
working
are
out,
you going to be
or
able to
dismembering
finish
your
the future?
HOA president, and their screams are just as annoying as the fines you've been receiving for parking your 81 Toyota Hilux with a mounted 50 cal machine gun
Also,
in front
was
of your house. Look at
did you get
Kevin,
any
you
of the
freaking
fusion
potato.
champions
I don't
when you was
encourage
pulling
crime
charge?
in any way, shape, or form, but you know dang well listening to crime stories is kind of fun. Some might call that gallows humor, or maybe even morbid curiosity. There's a little saying that I enjoy that is, laugh so you don't cry. If you're a fan of laughing and not crying, you can listen to Crime is Fun on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Pandora. For those of you who are unfamiliar with my content, hi, I'm Donut. I've spent the past decade telling true crime stories. Before that, I spent a couple years in the Navy and then a couple years as a cop. My main YouTube channel, Donut Operator, which I still post to a couple times a week, has amassed 1.8 billion views, with most of those
Teleps
being
is a game
analytical
changer
breakdowns of
for
police
low
shooting
to
people
mid-level
or people
accounts.
shooting police. I've done a lot of crime and I've seen a lot of crime. the
Nobody's
past 10
really
years.
hating on him,
So what
but I
am
think people
doing
don't
now here on this
understand the
new
value of
project?
his
It's
shield
fine.
versus
Well, what had happened was I was
Fire
sitting at
Knight,
home a couple
or
weeks
if
ago
you
and came
build
up with
him
a
up with
crazy
like
idea.
100k
It was an
speed.
idea that a white dude, military
And then
veteran
there's
with a beard
a
has never ever
AoE
thought of.
nuker that you're going
I
up
should
against in
start
the
a
arena.
podcast.
It
Right,
deflects
completely original
100% the
idea.
damage
Before
back,
we
and
get started, I
100k
just
you
wanna
would
throw it
get
out
a
there that this episode is
33,000
kinda
shield
gross.
on everybody, and that would be 112k damage
I guess I could've
reflected
said
back
that
on the
before
person who
talking about
attacked
an
you,
elderly
which
woman's
would
corpse
kill
juices soaking into
basically
the
anyone in the
baseboards of her
game.
home. But whatever, if you're still here, that means you're a real one. Welcome to episode 1, People Soup.
You could truly make a go second team as
We're gonna
long
start
as
this
he
off
was
with a
able to
story
get
that
his
I went
shield
over
up.
several
Like,
years ago on my main YouTube channel.
you would build him
This one has stuck with me for some time because it explains
onto
quite
like a
possibly
tanky
the
speed
worst
lead,
way to leave this
but
plane in
everybody
existence.
else in your team could
This is
just
a
sit
story
and
of a
wait their
traffic
turn.
stop leading to a little bit of people soup. August 5th, 2018.
And you could stack
Lancaster,
someone else in his
California.
shield
The
set
temperature by
on
noon
top
has
of it
reached
because they count as
102
two separate
degrees.
shields.
According to police reports, a 35-year-old man by the name of Raimundo Rivera is pulled
I'm
over by
very
police for
excited to
having
get
a
him on my
license
main
plate.
account.
For whatever reason, he does not want to talk to the police, so he takes off and crashes his car near a Winco supermarket. Raimundo still doesn't really want to talk to the police, so he jumps out of the car and takes off on foot. Desperate to hide from the 5-0, Rivera scrambles up some stairs to the roof of the Winco supermarket. Raimundo spots a hollow brick pillar on the building's exterior. The pillar is about 3 feet wide and is positioned next to the front door of the store. Raimundo thinks to himself, what a perfect place to hide from police, so he slides down into the pillar. You know the pictures of cavers who find a cave named Satan's Booty Hole of Death with a 0% survival rate? Yeah, that's kind of the situation Raimundo had gotten himself into. The only difference is this cave is completely vertical with no way to climb out, and it's well over 100 degrees. Raimundo is trapped inside of a brick oven the shape of a tube. Deputies searched the area, but claim they lost track of him. Police reports filed later by the pursuing deputies state that the suspect escaped. Raymundo's family
I'll show
says
you. Hang on, let me
otherwise, though.
finish this
We'll
spy.
talk about that a bit more in a minute. His body temperature spikes.
I'll do
and
it on this account.
dehydration
I got to
sets in
set up
pretty
my
fast.
defense anyways.
6 days passed.
All right. You go to your siege. You see up here in the top right corner, you got, I don't know how many you have, but 3 defense tokens or whatever. Find a tower that's not full. I recommend putting 1 in stronghold, and then 1 in mana or magic, and then another one in defense if you have 3. But definitely be sure to put 1 in the stronghold. And that's all you got to do. Then just go to another one, like, do you see where it says level 3 is 6, level 2 is 6, level 3 is 6? That's how many teams are in it. So as long as it's not 6 out of 6, you'll be able to put a champion in. But just remember, arena